you didn't mention me by name, and that was the thing.
Because I knew you. I obviously knew at the time.
Yeah, you said you did it. And you're like, that girl that no one knows. And I was like, oh, period. And I was like,
oh my God. I'm sorry. Welcome to the Just Trish podcast, and I am here joined by, you were once the most followed person on TikTok, but still, I don't know anyone who has bigger numbers, but maybe I'm just out of it. 54 million followers on TikTok. TikTok superstar, and also like mainstream singing sensation, Loren Gray.
Thank you. I don't think anyone's ever said
I mean, you are. It is crazy. I always knew you were like mainstream, but I didn't know you like started from TikTok. Like I didn't know those were your beginnings.
Yeah, just like my whole childhood.
That's crazy.
Plastered on the internet.
Wait, so how old were you when you did Musically?
I started when I was 13, like accident.
Wait, oh, right. Okay,
oh my God, it's going to take me a minute to settle in. I'm so nervous.
First of all, you look great. You look like Britney Spears. You walked in literally looking like Britney Spears. I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. You have a country vibe to you today, which I love. With the boots, the big buckle.
Thank you. That's like, I went through a thing in like 2022 where I was so yeehaw. And now the remnants of yeehaw
are you back
still,
to it?
Yeah, I love it though. I love a little yeehaw.
You look so, do you think you'd ever go country? I know you're like pop girl, but.
I love country music, yeah. I think I would try. I have like some songs that lean that way.
To country, really?
Yeah, but country music is like, it's, there's a lot to it.
Yeah. It's like a whole, you have to have a lot of sadness and stuff like that too, I feel. Which I feel like at 21.
Totally.
When there's certain TikToks I see where I'm like, oh my God, this just like, the way you're so casual about some things, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I just, it's coping.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way you got to do it. Some people are like, okay, how are you talking about this and making light of it? But it's like, sometimes that's what you have to do.
Yeah, and also like, I feel like everything that I've experienced in my life kind of feels like it's not me. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, so when I was reading our DMs, that was a DM and I hadn't seen it and you sent it to me.
I was so excited to come here and because I watched an episode of you with Drew.
Yes.
And because I watch everything that you do.
Oh my gosh,
and I always
thank
have.
you.
But I watched that and I've never heard anyone talk about that feeling of like feeling like I'm a liar when I talk about things that like happened.
Yeah.
Because I just feel so removed in a weird way. And oh my gosh, we're getting deep like right off the top.
I didn't know to get that way.
Like good morning. 11 in the morning.
Right
Dr.
away.
Drew, thank you. But yeah, I had never heard anyone really talk about that, and it's just something that I've always
dealt with.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's a little disassociating, but it's also a little bit like, did that happen? It's almost like you can't believe it. Like it's very surreal to me too.
Yeah,
I'm in like therapy for it, and I'm sometimes like I talk about it with a smile on my face as if I'm telling a story, like a movie I watched or something.
Yeah, and I just like, that's why I've had so many people tell me that I need to go to therapy, which, I mean, ouch, okay, I get it. But
like people
I
know.
Yes.
On the internet.
Like everyone is like, girl, go to therapy. And I would, but I'm just kind of scared to like unpack things because I feel like I've done such a good job of existing without unpacking, and I know that sounds so unhealthy and so bad, and I advocate for literally everyone else to go to therapy, but me, I'm just terrified.
Well, at 21, you're 21, right? Yeah, at 21, I mean, I definitely was never interested in therapy, because it's just like, you do have such a grip on life. Like you just said, you like have this like house now, and you're in this like adult era, and it's kind of like, oh, I have a grip on it, I don't need to go, which maybe the case is, but sometimes it just makes you feel better without even knowing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like something I like to
It's hard.
keep. And for everyone else, like literally everyone else but me, I'm like, you go. Like, go unpack that. But I just know that like, I don't know, being removed from it for so long has like helped me in a way.
Oh, for sure. Having to unpack it is like traumatizing. I haven't even unpacked half the stuff. There's like stuff now at 35 because I only started at 32, and I'm just like, oh my God, like it like almost unlocks more memories that you like try to suppress. So if you've done a good job suppressing, I would say kind of wait until you need it.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm good right now.
Yeah.
There's just like, and I know what my flaws are, and I know I've done a really good job of psychoanalyzing myself and the people in my life so I can like understand and not be hurt. But oh my gosh, good morning. I'm so sorry.
No, there's so much, and I'm like, I don't know how deep you want to go, because when I was like listening to you and like just from TikToks but also interviews too, I'm like, gosh, this girl's like been through a lot, because you look just so cookie cutter, wholesome, like
thank you.
Never had anything bad happen.
I think that's like, that's compensation for like, I think the chaos that I have going on, and I, there's a lot of things that, I mean, I'll unpack anything.
Yeah.
I talk about everything because, I feel like it's helpful, and I didn't have anyone really when I was 12, 13. I was a mess.
Yeah.
And like I feel like it would have been helpful to hear some things.
I think especially from people like you that have mainstream success, it's like if Britney Spears were talking about her mental health when she was 20, it'd be like, oh, that makes sense, that's me. But you watch someone, you're like, oh, she has it all together, she's pretty, she's this, So I think when you talk about it, it does like impact in a different way because you are successful and you're able to like maintain a job and stuff like that with,
Which is hard.
Is it?
It's so hard.
Really? Tell me about it. So like, okay, so let's go back to where you were saying. So starting musically, you said you did it by accident. Mm-hmm. You were uploading videos and you didn't know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you did research.
Yes. I love hearing the story though. I need to know.
Yeah, no, I was, it's so weird. I had a conversation with my mom and I just left school. I left school a few times because for different reasons. The first being I was bullied for being ugly.
Which is great. Do you have pictures? We got to insert them.
Yeah, I do.
No way.
They exist. They're out there. But that was sort of in, I would say, like 5th grade I left. And my mom was always very good about if I was uncomfortable, then it was time to go. But then I started watching makeup tutorials and whatever. And I guess that's when I started understanding social media, but it didn't seem like an obtainable job or something that I wanted for myself. And then I learned how to do makeup and I felt confident. I was like, okay, I want to go back to school. And then I went back to school and then I started social media on accident. I was posting videos trying to save them to my camera roll and like not knowing that Musical.ly or TikTok was a platform at all.
Oh my gosh.
And then, I started getting all these random follow requests on my Instagram. I was like, who are these people? Because my Instagram was private. And then, by the time I realized I had like 30,000 followers and it was, something I never wanted though. Like, I mean, now that it's here, like I love the way that I do it because like I have a very close relationship with the people that follow me and we kind of grew up together, which is really cool. But for the most part, like I told my mom right before it happened, I was like, I never want to be famous. I don't want people in my business. Like I wanted to be a scientist.
Wow. What a switch. So you never craved it.
No.
So what were you doing on Musical.ly? Because those were like the lip syncs.
That was it.
Okay,
and
so
I was like kind of silly, kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then I just sort of, I don't think I really understood how to handle it at first because I would just say whatever was on my mind. And obviously now that's different.
At 13. I mean, that's the worst.
Yeah, and like when you're 13, you have thoughts that no one needs to hear. Like I was just,
like what would you say?
Online. Like
a menace?
Yeah.
Oh, what were you say?
Just not even coming for like, I guess kind of coming for everyone. And
like influencers or celebrities or just your friends?
Like anyone that would comment something bad about me, like anyone that mentioned me. I was also just so deeply insecure, which I feel like in some areas I still am, but like so insecure and had been through so much that it just like, there was so much angst.
Yeah.
And I was like heavily disliked until I would say I was like 16, 17.
On social media or in school?
Both.
Oh my God. Wait, on social media. So Musical.ly, they were following you. Who was following you then?
I like kids my age, I think.
Okay.
And like,
so no one creepy, not like creepy guys.
I mean, that too, of course. But I was just always very outspoken and insecure and angry, and that switched eventually. But yeah.
But with the sweet look that you had, because were you blonde then? Were you like?
Yeah.
Okay, so you like naturally blonde.
Yeah.
So you're naturally blonde and you look like a little doll, and so like you like firing back at people, they're probably like, whoa.
Yeah, and I was self-aware, but I couldn't help it because I just felt like everything was a personal attack.
Yeah.
And which it kind of is because when your job is so intertwined with your life, it's like, you know.
Oh, especially if they like come for your looks, like you said in school. They bullied you for being ugly and then bullied you for being pretty.
And just so insecure. Like I had things that, you know, went down that made me feel so like gross about myself. And I think there was just so many feelings that a 13-year-old shouldn't have to feel. Yeah. And those were things that the internet didn't know. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I just seemed like an angry little troll.
That's so funny. That's so weird because social media at 13.
Like so cute and glam, but so angry.
Oh my God. So how do you think the anger went? Loren, so you were mostly angry just from being insecure, from being bullied at school?
Yeah, like that. And then there was other things in my life that were like, I just didn't know how to deal with or like come to terms with, I suppose. So I don't know. I think I still have some of those like tendencies, not in an angry way, but just in like a self-sabotaging way. Yeah, like I don't think I like deserve good things, so I sabotage good things.
Yeah, I was very much like that. Have you ever, interesting, have you ever been diagnosed with anything?
No, and I also think like my fear, I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
And like if I psychoanalyze myself, I could be like, okay, I could see where some of these things, because my dad is super OCD. Like I know that word gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
But it's like it affected my childhood the way that like my childhood was. I wasn't allowed to have certain things because he like couldn't handle it.
Like what do you mean?
Like I wasn't allowed to have glitter. I wasn't allowed to have like anything with glitter on it. I wasn't allowed to have like if I was making a mess, it was like very controlled and I don't know. Yeah. And then finally he started containing his sort of OCD to certain parts of the house. So like his room, and I love my dad. I'm so close with my dad.
Yeah.
But his room where he has like his action figures, it's so perfect in there. Like there's a gate, you're not allowed in there unless he's there, like to walk you there. It's crazy.
It is almost like it's a disease. It's like debilitating.
Yeah. And then my mom, you know, I love her.
How was that? Was she?
I love her.
Did she have OCD too, or
no? It's definitely like she's never been diagnosed. Neither of my parents have ever been diagnosed with anything, but she has ups and downs, and I think like I psychoanalyzed a lot of people in my life so that I could understand that like things that were happening were not directed at me specifically, even when they were.
Yeah.
And like I have great parents and they've always done everything for me, and my mom like moved out to LA with me, quit her job to, you know. But yeah, I've done a lot of psychoanalyzing in my life to try to understand things.
That's pretty good. You can do that on your own without, because to me that sounds like something like you would need an outside perspective because you thought it was happening to you, which you said sometimes it is if they lash out. Or did the anger come, like your anger, do you think it came from any of your parents? Did they have any anger problems or outbursts?
No, I mean, I feel like a normal sort of amount, but I don't know. I think there was just things that I didn't understand that made it difficult because I've always put my parents on such a pedestal. And then you get to that age where you realize your parents are just people and they don't know everything. And that's such a scary thing to realize, especially when I was becoming an adult so fast and like having adult problems so quickly. And I'm sure that was tough to navigate for them too.
Yeah.
So it's just like things that were not normal were just happening back to back, not just with my parents, but like in my own life that they weren't prepared for. And yeah.
Were they aware of everything? Because going back to you being at 13, you talked a couple things. I've heard that you talked about being a serial dater starting at 13.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Which I was like, wow. And then there was a TikTok that was a very casual sound where you said that you were SA'd at 13.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't have to go deep into it, but those are two, I would think, very traumatizing things, dating and then also dealing with the assault at 13.
Yeah. I mean, so that happened. And I feel like that's probably the root of a lot of my issues, but I'm very aware of how that affects the rest of my life without me like feeling it or knowing it. Subconsciously, I know, or I think I know. You know what I mean? It's kind of impossible to be.
You're aware that
completely self-aware, but I try to understand myself, and I think a lot of those things are intertwined. I think me being a serial, because I know after being essayed, it was like I just didn't really care anymore because it was like this part of me is gone and I wanted to feel secure in something. Like, and I found that in boyfriends. And I know people get so tired. I get comments all the time like, oh, Loren's got another boyfriend, which I will say this past year I did grow when I was single, and then I have a new boyfriend now.
A full year. Oh,
gorgeous and like so good, and my standards changed, and I feel like I sort of broke a pattern in a way.
Yeah.
But I know from the outside looking in, it's like, oh, here goes Loren with another boyfriend. But I was just so desperate to feel safe with someone.
Yeah.
And I did that over and over and over and over again. And it didn't matter how I was being treated either. It was like, as long as I have someone, then it's safe. Like, doesn't really matter who it is or how they treat me.
What made you feel safe? Because I hadn't been in a relationship until I was like 30. So at a young age, you're in all these relationships. And even if they weren't great, you've talked about being cheated on and stuff like that. What made you feel safe? Just having a guy, like the guy figure in your life?
In the beginning, it was me sort of trying to attach myself to someone so I didn't have to be alone or think about anything because I had someone else to worry about.
Yeah.
And I've always been one to take care of other people. And and it doesn't matter how they treat me because I just want to focus on something else that's not me. And I did that for, and long-term relationships, and I would try to make anything work. But then I turned 17, and I feel like that was a crazy turning point in my life because my mom had just moved back home, and I was alone for the first time, like truly by myself.
17, that's young.
Yeah, and I was about to turn 18, and my mom and I just couldn't be together anymore.
Yeah,
and it was kind of a thing where I wanted a relationship with my mom, and I knew that if we stayed in the same house any longer, we couldn't.
Yeah.
And she'll agree with that.
Yeah. And that's valid. Me too. I didn't talk to my parents for like a few years here and there at that age. So it's a valid thing.
It was tough because I was, eating disorders, and that I had had for however, 4 years at that point. And then my mom left and I was alone, and it's what I wanted, but I didn't really know how that was going to feel. And my friend lived with me for a little bit, but I mean, we were both unstable.
Okay.
So
yeah. 17-year-olds in LA.
Yeah.
Influencers.
We were both unstable. I mean, she was my friend from back home.
Oh, I see.
And she came out with me, and I don't know, I was just looking for things because there were so many things that happened at once. I had to put my dog down and make that decision by myself.
Oh my gosh.
So I was making all these like decisions, and obviously my parents were there to guide me from afar.
Yeah.
But I think that was the first time where I felt like alone.
Yeah, truly, because you're losing a dog. When your parents, where are you from? You're from
Philly.
Okay, so they went back there. So you're very far away. You're not even like super.
Yeah, and I have a house there now, and I go back and forth. Wow. But small periods of time.
Yeah. I never go back to my hometown. I'm like
little doses. Just because I love the woods, and I love being removed. And my house in Pennsylvania is like 300 years old, and I love it.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's a whole other thing. That could be like haunted or something like that.
Oh, I know. And I'm so bad about that because I do all of these things in my life, and I'm like, this should have been content in retrospect, but yeah.
That's interesting. So do you feel because your whole life has been content from 13, do you feel like you constantly have to put your whole life out there?
Sometimes but more recently, I feel like I have to force myself more to post things because I'm sort of in this like shift right now where I feel like I'm making more adult decisions, and it's less like when I'm hanging out with my friends, we're going to dinner and then we're going home. And my best friend's been dating her boyfriend for 7 years. So
my God. And she's your age?
Yeah.
Wow.
They've been dating since they were like 4. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Also, she's like a huge fan. So.
Oh, you should have brought her.
I know. She wanted to come, but I think she's still sleeping, honestly.
It is early. You were very punctual, by the way.
I wake up so early.
Me too. I love being up early.
I get like morning anxiety where like my people make fun of me for how I wake up because I wake up like...
Oh my gosh, you just immediately?
Yeah, because I think about all the things that I have to do. And
you need to meditate. I tell everyone this. That saved me. Just like clear your mind before bed and clear your mind in the morning. Because I used to wake up that way too.
But my mom used to meditate, and then she started having all these like weird like paranormal experiences.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, like she like opened herself up. Which sounds crazy. I'm probably to a lot of people. Sounds crazy.
No, you do. You go to like a different dimension sometimes. Is it good or bad though? Was it a bad experience?
Both. That's the thing. And so I'm a little scared to tap into that.
Wow, she's a deep meditator then, because if you can go to like another level, I haven't quite been there, but that is the whole point. Is the universe is supposed to like answer your questions.
She also had a brain tumor, so it could have been that.
Oh my gosh, is she okay? Oh my gosh,
yeah, she's good.
Recently or
no, it was like
when you were little.
When I was younger, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I mean, you really have. You could write a book at 21. You could write your life story right now.
So much.
So 17, you're like, that was a turning point because you're by yourself. You lost your dog.
And just so sad. Like,
were you?
But most depressed.
Did you have your record deal at 17?
Yeah, I signed my record deal when I was 16, and that was a whole mistake in itself. But
that was you were with Virgin, right?
Yeah.
That's like huge. That's like everyone's dream. That's
and but there's no. I feel like it's cooler, and it would have probably been more beneficial like 10 years ago. You know?
What do you mean? How so?
Because there's no like artist development in a record deal.
There's not
anymore. They just expect that you're
gonna promote it.
Yeah, because they'll fund it, and that's pretty much it. So you're still kind of doing everything yourself, except everyone has an opinion, and it holds things back.
Interesting.
So I don't know.
Because you're independent now, right?
Yeah, and there's trauma associated with that too. Like
with the record deal.
I could go on and on.
There's so many, and I had all these, and I'm like, wait, I'm trying to like navigate all them because I'm like starting with 13, but now we're skipping to 7. We can do all of it, but I'm so fascinated because you said you were the saddest at 17, but you had a record deal at 16. You have all these followers.
Yeah.
And did you have a boyfriend at 17?
Yeah.
So you had a boyfriend, and you're still so sad, and you're still sad.
Yeah. It was a lot of self-sabotaging, but there was also so many changes, and I was scared for sure to be by myself. And then my dog, I had to make that decision on my own and make that happen. And it all happened October of 2019. Will forever go down in history as the worst month of my life.
What?
I remember it.
We really?
Yeah.
So all that happened in 1 month. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Not to be the same, but 2019 was my worst year. That was my rock
Really?
bottom.
Okay,
And
there was
October
something in the air then.
Maybe. I don't know. 2019 was a rough one. So October 2019.
I hate, like, everything that could go wrong in the span of 3 weeks went wrong. Like, my parents were on the verge of divorce. Like, I was right in the middle, and my parents are going back and forth, and I'm trying to mediate that. And my mom had just moved back.
Oh my gosh.
And then now my dog, which was, sad.
Yeah.
And then my eating disorder was peaking, and I was like, I just felt like I was failing in all aspects of my life, even though all of these great things were happening. That didn't even register to me. And then I started dating someone who was quite a bit older than me, and I thought that was like, I was making all these adult decisions, and now this is another adult decision that I'm making, and also sort of out of spite, I feel like, being like, oh, I'm an adult now.
And how much older was your boyfriend at the time?
He was 7 years older than me.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're a teenager, that's a big difference.
Yeah, not to mention that, like, there was so many things that came along with that, like me lying to people and saying we weren't together so he didn't get in trouble. And
oh, that's heavy. Oh my God. So you knew.
Yeah.
So you knew at the time, like, this could be potentially, like, judged.
Yeah, but I was so, I want to say I was so obsessed with him, but I wasn't, because it was all, like, alcohol induced.
Interesting.
I like woke up, hungover, and I had a boyfriend and I didn't remember.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How did it happen?
Good question. I just,
Oh my
one day
gosh.
he was like, oh, we had this conversation. I'm like, okay.
Oh my God. Was he an influencer?
No.
So he's just this older guy. Wow. So you're dealing with an eating disorder. You're dealing with, obviously, like, there's some alcohol.
Every night.
Yeah. Wow.
Every night. And then I wake up in the morning and I, like, put on my glam, and I'm like, good morning, angels.
Oh my God. Did people know?
No.
No one knew. Like,
No.
did your parents knew?
No, because
they're
I was
so far.
I just removed myself from everything, and that became my life for like a good 3 months until he moved in with me, and then we sort of got into a more like adult routine, and then I was fully taking care of him.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
my God, at 17.
Yeah. So
Because you're making money from social media and your music.
And I just like, I don't know, I was always very good at keeping things separate. Like whatever was happening in my personal life, however, it was, completely hitting the wall, and I'm drunk every night, like not remembering anything the whole month.
blackout.
Every night. Even though that was happening, I still like flip the switch and I'm Good Morning America. Like,
yeah. You're just...
And it was such a crazy contrast, and I like completely lost myself, and nobody knew. I dyed my hair brown, like for the first time ever. I was just having a moment, but not publicly.
Yeah, people didn't know.
Yeah. And like, I don't even think I've ever talked about that, but it was, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that has to be a whole... And you're not able to talk to anyone like about this. Like,
No.
Did your boyfriend know about your eating disorder?
Yeah, and I here's the thing, like I don't even really remember much of our relationship. And I don't remember much of anything. But I don't really remember how I felt in the relationship or why I was in the relationship. But I think it was just that attachment, and he came at such a pivotal moment, and like was able to take advantage of that vulnerability and exploit it to like the fullest.
What happened then with you guys? Like, how did it end? If you're out of it, you're not remembering.
Well, I sort of fell into a routine with him, and my parents had met him. Like they've met him here and there, I guess, but they didn't know the extent of like what my life was in California with him, because they both work full time. They don't come out here often. So they came out for the holidays, and at this point we had been dating for like 2 years, and they were like, absolutely not, Loren. And my dad never says anything. And my dad was like, absolutely not.
Wait, why? What was it?
They knew I was being taken advantage of.
They could just see.
And my dad was like, you're smarter than this. You're better than this. How are you like putting yourself in this position? His family thanked me for taking care of him. He's a grown man.
Oh, no.
And it didn't even click in my head that this is weird.
No.
And
yeah. Well, how could you? You're 17, 18, 19. I'm like...
And he had like a couple fans, because he had like an artist project from a long time ago. And his fans, two fans, were in my DMs being like, girl, no. Like, he's done this before. Apparently, he dated some 15-year-old girl when he was 21 and lied to me about that.
Oh, my gosh.
But apparently, this had been a pattern. And I remember sitting in the car with him in the grocery store parking lot. And he's like, tell them we're not together. And I used, and this is something I'm not proud of, and it's just whatever. But I was like, I've been assaulted and I know what that's like. So how dare you say that that's, what's happening. Yeah. But they were so right. And I was just so like in this fog of not knowing or not caring, I guess, also.
Yeah, because you're just going through a lot of stuff. And then the lying, saying you're not together and stuff like that. Is that the first time like you've lied in a relationship? Or did you lie, like at 13, did your parents know? Or are you lying about,
My parents knew, but there was things I lied about. Like I dated this kid for a couple of months who like would smack my head against the wall, and I would go out and visit him, and then I would come home, and it was like, I've done this so many times with people where I'm willing to overlook everything to be with them. And I know from the outside looking in, it's like, oh, Loren has another boyfriend, but it's like, I don't know. It was just such a pattern. And with my boyfriend that I'm with now, I didn't want to tell him anything because I was like, I don't want you to know this because this is not who I am.
It's heavy, yeah.
Because, like, if you asked me these questions 2 years ago, I would have answered them completely different.
Yeah, just covered it up.
Yeah, but I've had time to, like, reflect on things that I just,
And how do you do the self-reflection? Because a lot of people probably don't go to therapy, either can't afford it or don't want to go. Like, how do you do the self-reflection yourself?
I spent a lot of time by myself last year, I guess. And I think I had to look inward a lot because I wanted to have better standards for myself. And I wanted to meet someone who, like, was gonna be good for me. And I wanted someone who my friends were gonna like and my family was gonna like and who wasn't in my field at all and had nothing to gain from being with me. So I had to realize sort of what the patterns were and why I was doing these things to myself to, like, change it, I guess.
And how are you able to see, especially young, but I couldn't see patterns that I was doing. How are you able to see the patterns? You're just like, let me go through each relationship and see what I was doing.
Yeah, because I see my friends who have, like, been together forever and their relationship is so healthy and they're so happy, and, like, I wasn't jealous, but I was because I was happy for them. Right. But I was like, why can't I have that? What is the difference between me and Brooke, my friend? I'm like, what's the difference between us that, like, I keep getting myself into these situations and you're happy? And I just, I
what was your realization? What do you think the difference?
I was just lonely, like, and I feel like there was certain, of course, things that, like, I had never confronted, and I still haven't confronted everything, but, like, I'm a lot less lonely now, and I'm not running away from myself because I did that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think growing up, I mean, it just sounds like even though your parents were there and they were as best as they could be, like, you did feel like alone sometimes if your mom had ups and downs. Your dad had OCD, which you can't control. I mean, that's all very scary.
Yeah, and they just, like, but they both worked full time. And I also have an older sister who's a half sister who was, like, she was always going through it. So I just wanted to, like, fly under the radar and be, like, golden child. And then that all came crashing down. Yeah. And I was essayed, and then I had a bunch of things happen that happened after that were, like, super embarrassing and scary.
In your personal life, like,
just as a result of being essayed?
People knew? Or
you just like,
felt ashamed or
definitely
guilty?
Just, like, miscarried as, like, a child.
Oh, my gosh.
And I think that's something that I've never talked about. But, like, I think that completely, like, changed not the way my parents viewed me, but the way that I, like, viewed myself and how I interacted with everyone. And then I was just angry all the time.
I mean, I can't even fathom as, like, a child, because you just don't know. You think it's, like, your fault or you're ashamed or I don't know. There's just so much as a child you can't comprehend.
Yeah, and then I forgot about it because I started social media and no one knew anything about me, and it was, like, exciting and I could create this, like, whatever I wanted to be. And then when I was 17, that's when I got, like, a message, like, blackmail message being like, I know.
Oh, my. From an anonymous person or this person?
Anonymous. I don't know who it was.
Oh, my gosh.
I assume someone from my school,
How did they know? You just think
don't know.
People talked?
Maybe I trusted the wrong people. I don't know.
Oh, you told some people.
But, sorry.
No, I'm so sorry. and whatever
I
you're
did not
comfortable
come
with.
here expecting to talk about this.
No. It's whatever you're comfortable with, and if you don't want to continue, it's totally fine with this conversation.
No,
but
it's okay because I think these are like important things because I think too often people see things like, oh my God, she has new boyfriends every week. And it's like, yes.
Yeah.
And
this is why
I'm aware of that, but there's more behind it, and it's not just,
I don't think I'm trying to comprehend this, and it's like something that's really unfathomable. Like I couldn't imagine. And
I'm sorry.
I think it's a good thing to talk about. I think about like my own daughter going through that, and I just like,
and I think my parents handled it the best they could, and like they were there, but it's still so lonely. And then, like, to then have it brought up 4 years later.
It used against you.
Yeah, and it was sort of like a threat in a way, and it scared me enough to where, like, that's when I felt like I needed to publicly say something. And
did you were at that time?
Yeah, I like, made a video basically being like, this has come up. I didn't want to talk about this, but here it is.
Wow.
And then we're moving on. And I think it helped a lot of people, and I was super happy about that. But I also, like, I don't know if it helped me.
It's a lot, because once it's out there, I'm glad that you had it out there, because it's like once it's out there, it is one of those things where it's like.
And it was at that time, too, like 2019. Terrible time.
Oh, my gosh. And you're
Terrible
17.
time.
You're like, I shouldn't have to talk about this. But I think, one, you should never apologize for it, but I think it is a way to people understand you, because I feel all the stuff that's happened, like you said, the serial dating and just what people see you from the outside, not knowing all this, it explains a lot. And I feel like people are just so scared to talk about it when it does happen to them. Like, this is something that's very rare, I'm sure, but I also feel like a lot of people have gone through something similar, even with the SA or losing a child at that age. Like, it's
scary, and it's very isolating, and you can tell people, but it's not something that you can really understand. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think that, sorry to make this so dark.
No.
Like, genuinely, this is like just Trish. Like,
no. I think because I was trying to figure out is like, people are so scared to talk about it or to say anything at the time. And I think it's important because it's like, this is something that like you go through and you shouldn't have to go through alone, because you kind of went through it by yourself and you didn't talk to someone. Now you kind of have to deal with these repercussions later in life.
Yeah.
Of the trauma, of the blacking out of it. Not remembering it, but I think if there's other girls that are this happening to, like the essay and stuff like that, I think people are just so scared to say something about it to their parents or whatever.
Yeah, I was terrified, and I think that if I would have, like, I don't know, it is a scary situation, and it's different for everyone, and I think that everyone sort of deals with it how they can handle it the best. But I definitely think if I had known that other people had experienced that, I think I would have felt a lot less alone.
No one talks about it. And I think that is like one of the things, like no one talks about it. And I feel like more people should, because how do you deal with that at a young age, especially something that wasn't your choice, which I think is a whole other thing. It's like.
And I'm like not qualified because obviously I'm not handling things probably the best by the book. But.
No, but you're definitely qualified to talk about it because it's happened to you. And it's just. It's really, really sad. It's really unfortunate. It makes me sad for it. And the fact that you are able to thrive. That's what I'm saying. The fact that you're able to thrive. I didn't even know the extent of your essay. I just knew it happened at 13 and that alone was a lot. But now this is something that's happening to your body. When you go through pregnancy and then a miscarriage, your hormones, everything changes. But especially at that age.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't even know it was happening. So I didn't even know that was possible. You know what I mean? I was 13.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know anything. And yeah, and it was just having my dad there, there's a lot of things about it that were just uncomfortable. And, I felt like everyone's perspective of me had changed, even if that wasn't true. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but on the bright side, I think that it's taught me a lot. And I think I can understand people a little bit better, because I know that just because someone has boyfriends all the time, or just because there might be something a little more to it.
Yes.
And there usually is.
I think that's a good thing for people to know too. It's just the way that people judge people from the outside. The relationship things. I'm someone who never had a relationship, so I look at a girl with a lot of relationships wow, she's really lucky. She just has a good, she must be just wonderful, And so to hear that, it's there's always a reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And so at 17, to have that thrown in your face or used against you in some type of way, it makes you feel like you did something wrong all over again.
Yeah, and just this pressure to have to put things back out there and bring things up again. And then I'm thinking okay, this is that was like the one part of me that I just tucked away, and social media and all that became like my new persona, which was always me, but just like sort of who I wanted to be and not who I felt like I was, which to an extent is still the truth.
Right.
And I feel like for most people it is. Like, you're not who you are at the end of the day is not necessarily who you are in, you know, on social media or who you present yourself as for anyone.
No one.
But, you know, I'm trying, I think, out of all of this, I'm trying to not self-sabotage as much as I usually do, especially with this new relationship, because it's something so good. Like, for the first time ever, it's something so good, and people in my life are telling me that it's something good. So I'm trying to just let it be good.
Ooh, it's hard too. The self-sabotage all makes a lot more sense now because I'm a self-sabotager so much. Like I always have been. But it makes a lot of sense because you saying earlier you're not deserving of like happiness or love. I mean, it stems from that. You know, I feel, and I don't want to like put how you were feeling, but I know when I've gone through my own stuff as, you know, I was 6 when it happened with the teacher at one point and stuff like that. And it's just like, you just feel, I didn't feel at the time anything's wrong, but looking back, I was like, oh, I was in the wrong because I was this, and this, or, you know, you think you're in the wrong, and those feelings stick with you for a long time. And I think you just you feel like I'm not deserving of it because, well, this happened to me and this, and, you know, whatever. So,
even if it's subconscious, like, even if you're not actively thinking those thoughts, it's there. It's it's just ingrained in you then. And it's hard to reverse that.
It stems from my therapy and Dr. Drew, and also it stems from like trauma, they say, because I very much, I don't know if you felt like yours was trauma. I mean, yours is very traumatic, but at the time when I've gone through stuff, I don't feel it as trauma. You know what I mean? I think,
because it's just looking back, I'm like, oh my God, how terrible to be, you know, if I thought about the things that have happened to me and it was my nephew or like, you know, someone that I care about, I would be like, how awful. But in the moment for me, it was just like, okay, this happened, move on. And then, okay, this happened, push it away. And
did you feel bad at the time? Like, did you know it was bad, right?
I knew it was bad because of like, I guess,
feeling.
And just for me, it wasn't like I was manipulated. It was just violent. And so that I knew was bad because it wasn't like something that I had any question about. But at the same time, like, I just didn't want to register it, and I didn't, because my brain just like shut it out immediately almost. I mean, obviously I was like isolated and alone and was homeschooled and didn't want to ever go back to school, and my parents sort of like agreed and did whatever they needed for me. But I feel like, I don't know, things just don't register. I have like short-term memory loss, I think things happen and I just immediately forget about them. And
your protection almost.
Yeah, and I hate that sometimes because sometimes, like, even in good situations, my boyfriend and I will have a conversation and then the next day I'm like, I don't remember what we talked about.
I have that too. It makes me, oh God, it makes me sad. This is like, because I always thought like it only happened to me, or then I meet someone else, okay, it's one other person. But the fact that it's like I hear these stories over and over again and the same situation, and from girls like yourself who are just like successful and, you know, all this stuff like that. It's just like, it really happens to anyone, and you're like a lucky one to have been able to like function still, you know, but there's people.
Yeah, but I just put all of my energy that like into something else.
Yeah.
Like, I just diverted all of that energy of you know, trying to run away into this. And I feel like that's why I was able to succeed in a way, because I was just so like, I just wanted something else to happen. And even the good things, I was like, nothing was ever good enough.
Interesting. Yeah, because you're touring, you're doing all these music videos, and that's probably another sign of it too. It's like, where is the happiness? Where is like where you're just content in life?
Yeah, and it also like, there's so many things that I think stem from that. I think like I was definitely okay, or felt like comfortable, weirdly, being hypersexualized, because like that didn't even register to me as something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you just,
and I was okay doing it to myself. Like, I was fine with it.
What were you thinking? Like, yeah, I'm very much with you. I'm trying to think of like the thought process, how to describe it. Are you thinking like this is just like Britney Spears, or just like your way of being like, here's my character, or is it overcompensating?
It was like, this is just what I have to do because this is how I've been made to be viewed, and this is how people perceive me. So then you feed into
overboard,
it,
yeah,
and you go overboard, and then, you know, I think there's a lot of instances of that. But
I still feel it. I still feel like I need to be boobs out, like a lot of times, even as a mom married and just like not even young anymore, I'm just like, well, this is the character and this is what people want. And you just, especially being like a young girl, I can't even like imagine that. I mean, I go back and forth with it because I'm like, I like to be sexy, but then I'm like, do I, or am I doing this to be like.
And it's all of those questions. And those are the things about myself that I don't understand is I don't actually know how I feel sometimes. And it's hard when someone wants a healthy relationship with me and they want me to communicate, but when I say I don't know how I genuinely don't know how I feel.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember the conversation that we had yesterday and I don't know.
Yeah. Getting in touch. Yeah. Like trying to like remember, but also like know how you feel. Who am I?
Yeah.
Like, is this real?
And it's not that I don't have feelings because I do. It's just I don't know what I'm feeling.
Yeah. Like, so what's real?
Yeah.
It's scary. I'm the same way. I'm like, oh my God, do I even know how to love? Like, I don't even know what that is. You know what I mean? Sometimes. And I don't know if I'm 35 and I haven't grown out of it. I mean, you're still young and figuring it out, but.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
There's so many things about that, though, because then it's like, okay, I don't know how I feel. And then I also, like, I don't know how to communicate well. Apparently I do. That's what I've been told. But I also feel like I'm communicating on autopilot, like what I think I should be saying.
Interesting.
So
you're like
that aspect
so there's
of
not
it.
A genuineness quite there. It's like a little bit, but.
But the back of my head is like the voice inside of my head and the voice that comes out are two very different things. Because I know how to be like practical and communicate well and like say, get things across. But like also, for example, I was watching a TikTok the other day. And it was like, if he's following other girls, whatever. And then my boyfriend heard it and he was like, well, let's go through I was like, I don't want to go through who you're following.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't even want to see it. I don't want to know. Like, I've heard you say about like, if someone FaceTimes you,
yes,
you can't answer. I can't because I always feel like it's something bad.
Yeah.
If someone calls me, I feel like they're going to tell me something bad and I just don't want to know.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of things like that.
And I don't even know where mine comes from, my fear of that. It's not ever like I got a bad phone call. I never had to go through grieving yet, thank God. But I'm like, I've never gotten that phone call, but I'm immediately like something's wrong. Like it's really weird. And
it's like that anxiety. And I think, being online and having so many opinions and so many things that like go wrong and ups and downs, it's like, it could be something bad.
It could be something. That's why DMs
knowing me, it could be something terrible.
Yes. I checked my DMs once, then like never again. That's why I saw your last message when I went to go DM you today or yesterday, and I was like, oh, she like wrote this really nice message about the director, but I'm so scared because I'm just like, oh no, something bad happened or I don't know something. And yeah, it's a weird.
I've heard you talk about things like that, and there's so many times that you've said things like that where I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense to me.
Yeah, like you're like, thank God someone else goes through this. Hearing this from you, it kind of makes me feel a little less crazy too. I was like, oh my God, here's this girl who's just like perfect in every sense of the word, who's also dealing with this, I don't know what it is, like being a prisoner in your own mind almost, just
always
trauma and just also dealing with who am I and what am I, and I always thought it was literally just me. And I'm like, wow, maybe I'm like a crazy person.
Definitely not.
But like you, I would never expect it from, which is going back to the DMs. My first DM to you was apologizing for the when I saw you on Zach Sang, and I was like, oh my gosh! And during that time, which I'm so thankful you're on, because I always wanted to apologize to anyone I've ever talked crap about, especially I was like 31 when I did the show, and you were probably like 20. You're probably so young or something like that. Because this is when were you dating Bryce Hall or just hanging out with?
No, he had texted me and asked me to be in a video. And I was also going through a weird moment where I was saying yes to things. I don't say yes to things. So I just happened to do it. And you were like 1,000% right. It was so dumb.
What was it exactly? I tried to go back and like I was cringing. I was like, okay, was it like a staged paparazzi or something?
Oh, yeah. And it was weird. Like, it was even weird when I was doing it. And I knew it was weird. But I was just kind of going along with the bit.
Did I mention you specifically? I really didn't want to go back and cringe.
No, you didn't mention me by name.
It was more maybe about Bryce Hall, which I'm sorry to Bryce Hall too. I was just like coming for every TikToker.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't. You didn't mention me by name, and that was the thing.
Because I knew you. I obviously knew at the time.
Yeah,
I would
you said you did it, and I was like,
"Oh my God, I'm sorry."
No,
that's also something I say. I was just like, anyways, I was an angry person.
I wasn't offended. I honestly was not offended. Did
I say, oh my God, I am so sorry. I apologized to you right then and there, but I was like, I'm going to apologize again. Like, that's so embarrassing for me. I think someone right now, Renee Rapp, is talking about like millennials, like making fun of her and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I'll never listen to like an older person just like bashing a younger person. They're so weird for that. So
I wasn't even offended, honestly, because I saw you reacting to the video and I knew I was in it. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
Or talking about the video. I was like, oh no. And then you're like, that girl that no one knows. And I was like, oh, period.
Oh my, it's so embarrassing. I just know that I'm still so embarrassed.
but I understand it.
It
and
is.
like I said, I've said things about people that I didn't need to say, and it's like.
But you're also young. You're 20. I was like 30.
But I understand it, and I wasn't offended. I was like, and then Zach, I don't even know. Oh, you had just been on the show.
Yeah.
And I was, because you loved Broadway, I loved Broadway.
Yes, which I was going to talk about that too.
And there were so many things. I was like, it didn't really hurt my feelings because I just, like, I loved you so much, it didn't matter.
Well, I feel like that's worse. It's like, then you find someone else, like, who's a fan, and then you're just like, oh my God, that makes me feel worse. Like, if someone I love, like, I love Wendy Williams, and if she was just like, this little fat piggy or something, or like someone I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it really would, not that I said that, but you know what I mean? Like, it makes me sad. It makes me sad still when people are mean to me or they act like not even that don't know who you are, but even if they don't know who you are, I think it's such a rude thing to say. Even if you don't know someone, to be like, I don't even know who this person is. Like, it's such a rude thing to say, even if you don't.
Okay.
No.
You were just like, you were in your vibe, and that's okay.
I was in my mean vibe. I had like a little bit of power. It's when the bullied gets a little bit of power and then they start like bullying other. It was very.
That's okay.
I felt bad about it too. Like that era just felt bad, and that's why I'm like glad for this new era because I really try. I'm like, let me just try. Even if something
I love this era for you. Like I really have followed you for a long time, and I'm just so happy seeing you happy. My friend and I, we watch your podcast and we talk about it all the time, and it's just like you've had such a. I know you say all the time like, I don't even know where this is coming from, but it's so cool because you've been so public and like about everything, and I think without you realizing, like a lot of people relate to like even the not so good stuff, and then like it's just a really beautiful like progression to see. I don't know.
Thank you. I mean, I guess I'm thankful for the embarrassing moments like that to be like, at least don't feel bad. Like I always tell people, I'm like, if someone is making fun of you that are like in their 30s, like don't feel bad about it.
But no one's perfect, and people do that in their personal life. People who aren't public figures talk shit on people all the time.
I know. And even in my personal life, I try not to anymore. I really do. Like, I used to love gossiping. I'm like, it just doesn't, like, feel great. I really tried my hardest not to.
But, like, people can relate to that. You know what I mean? And I think that, like, even the down moments and even the times where you're, like, things you're embarrassed by or things that you're like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. Yes, but also human.
Yeah.
So
I think I was and I was also really bitter because I go through so many ups and downs. And I think when like I saw TikTokers blowing up, like especially young ones, like, at the time it was the D'Amelios and Addison Rae and you and Bryce and everything like that, it's like that jealousy because it's like, I never had that. I never popped off like that. So I always tell people, like, I can understand haters because I'm like, I was one for so long because I was just, like, jealous of so many people,
Yeah, but you've always been, like, you've always been it. Like, truly.
Oh, my gosh.
No, it's true because I look at you as like, wow, how amazing to have such a career, like, such a career.
Oh, my gosh, you're
like,
so sweet.
Historical career. People look back and be like, wow.
It's literally, like, the lifespan, because I think I just had 17 years on YouTube, so it's, like, literally your almost entire lifespan.
But you're, like,
crazy.
Reborn. Like every other couple of years.
Sometimes.
Like it's true.
Those down years are tough.
But people love those things about you too. And it's just, I don't know. It's really cool to see.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it's that's, I mean, I'm glad that it's out there like that because I definitely have struggled with a lot, which I think, again, going back to your story, I feel like talking about all this and saying it's like people see you in such a different light, you know what I mean? And I think you help so many people because you have so many followers. I mean, you still do. It's crazy because I went to your TikTok the other day. I follow you, but when you like just scroll, you don't see like how many views, but you still get a ton of views. Like I know you were huge. You were number one on TikTok, right? Or Musically?
By default. Lisa and Lena, the twins, they were like little blonde twins. Oh. They deactivated. I was second. They deactivated, so I just default.
Well, then you won.
It was like a default. It was not like a personal achievement that I'm like, oh my God.
That is because by being number two, and then they why did they deactivate? I don't know who they. I mean, I don't know who they are. Not in a bad way.
Musically switched to TikTok. People were feeling a little weird about it, and sometimes some people were just like, "Oh, this is not it anymore."
Did you know them? Where are they at now?
They're German. I don't know what they're doing.
They're just in Germany.
Yeah, they're just in Germany, like probably thriving.
What year was that you were number one?
I don't know, 2020 maybe?
Oh, wow.
2019 maybe?
Oh, so your lowest year was also your most popular.
Don't ask me about timelines because
you're not gonna remember.
I don't know. Like I genuinely don't.
That's recent. Yeah, but you still, I mean, it's still to be consistent and getting that many views. You see so many people like, it's amazing. Do you care about views and followers?
Like I like to say that I don't, but I also put so much pressure on myself to like, keep the ship sailing.
Yeah.
So yes and no. I think I've been able to separate it a little bit better, like work versus my personal life, and trying not to let that dictate how I feel about myself as a person. But like, I think anyone who does this as a job cares because it's your job.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I just didn't know how you personally dealt with it because I know even the past couple years, my views would be like 20,000 on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my God, I got 5 million subscribers. This is, and I kept going.
Oh, it's the same for me though. I stopped doing YouTube, and now like if I post a YouTube video, like who cares?
Yeah,
and I try to do well in other areas, and I post on YouTube for like fun because I enjoy it when I want to. And I also think there needs to be more of like that, just doing things because you want to do them.
Yeah.
And then, because I think so hard about everything, and that's not what people want to see.
Yeah.
And that's like a constant battle that I have with myself is like, what do people want to see, but what do I want people to know?
Yeah, and
don't
like
know.
don't overthink it, because I just feel like I overthink. Like I still put it out, but then I'm always thinking, oh my God, people. That's why I try to self-deprecate, kind of like the self-sabotage. I was saying, like self-deprecate beforehand. Like I know I'm not getting any views, but then it's kind of like a bad thing to put out there too. It's like, you know.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't know. I'm the same way because I'm like, ugh, I don't even deserve to be sitting here. Like, who cares about me? Honestly, like who cares?
I feel that way a lot too.
But yeah, then it's like, you don't want to put it out there because then it's kind of embarrassing. You're like,
yeah,
damn.
but it's like people do care. I try to look at the opposite way now. I'm just like, okay, I'm fly. Everyone loves me, and then I feel like that kind of Are you like a manifester?
I try to be.
Yeah,
I try to be, but then it's always like the little voice. It's like, shut up.
I know the little voice is what'll get you though. That's why I try and like really just suppress it as much as possible. But it's like, so I remember when Charlie, I think, got the #1. Did you put out a TikTok or something talking
Well, because
about it?
everyone was like, I genuinely didn't care because I had gotten it by default. Like it wasn't something that I was like working towards. So then obviously all my comments were like, Charlie passed you. And I was like, great.
What did you say back? What was your, because I don't remember.
I don't remember either. It was
You said
probably like,
something.
let her like, yes, girl. Like,
Yeah, you didn't really
it's
care.
her time, you know?
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't because like I said, I didn't even know that I was because the girls deactivated their account and then it was like, oh,
You're #1. So when you
Okay.
got passed, you're like, oh, I don't really care.
No.
That doesn't bother. I mean, how can it? I always feel like if you're top 10 at something, I'm like, how does it bother anybody? I'm like, it's like, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know. For me, there's more to it because I was so desperate for community, I think, when I started social media, which is why I was so passionate about it because I had people that cared and people that like wanted to talk to me and didn't know anything about me really. So I don't know, even still, the things that matter to me are like, I went to France recently and there's these 2 girls that I see in Paris when I go because they've been fans for a long time. And they got me this little shirt and this necklace.
I love the necklace.
And
It's so cute.
I like cried. I felt so bad crying in front of these girls, but like, I don't know. I feel like I just relied on like those people so much.
The people who supported you for like
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
And then I don't know. It was just such like a beautiful thing.
When you meet them in real life too, those people who supported you, it's like so surreal when you haven't had people who supported you, like friends, like people who bullied you in high school and stuff.
And it's like almost, it's so unconditional the way that they like care. And it's something that like people ask me all the time, like where I see myself and whatever. And I feel like as long as I have that, I'll be motivated. Because like some lonely little part of me needs that connection.
I think that's a lot of people in entertainment just looking for somewhere to like belong or be accepted. And with, you know, fandoms or fans and stuff like that, it's like you kind of get that you don't get anywhere else, that people might be like jealous and stuff. I invited, like, I consider them my friends now, but I invited like 6 of our like fans to our wedding and they came to tour. They were like every stop and I was just like, and they came to our wedding and it felt like this so surreal moment. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like you guys have been here and they still are. They're still like through it all. And now they're like my age because, you know, you grew up with your fans and whatever. And it's really cool because I never had that either. I never had people that like supported me that were like my age and, you know, understood what I was doing through thick and thin, through like the bad and the good, you know?
And that's like that's the crazy thing because I don't know. And then to see people in person and they're like real, like just cool girls with like boyfriends and lives and like whatever, but they're also just like so like they unconditionally love me.
Unconditionally love you. And they are. That's the thing. Sometimes people are like, oh, fans or creepers that comment on everything, but they're really just like people that are like really the people that came to our wedding are so successful. They have like their own businesses. They're like, you know, they're really
thriving and like we grew up together and it's really, really cool. And I know it's like super cliche to say, but that was something that I needed so bad. And it was just like it pushed me to you know, have a job, but the job was a result of that.
Right.
I guess.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about the internet and also what, like, being an influencer is you're just connected in a different way than, like, Jennifer Aniston, you know, or something, or Britney Spears. They're not connected that way. Fans feel that way because, you know, whatever, because they do know a lot about you. And so they know the connection that when you feel it back with them, it's a beautiful thing, especially in person. It's so cute. And the fact that they got you, like, a little necklace, that's gorgeous. I saw it. I was like, oh.
No, they're so cute.
What was the shirt? Was the shirt like a little t-shirt?
It was like a picture of us from like the first time that I had met them. And they got me like a little beret. It was really cute.
Okay, that's so cute.
And I was also like feeling a little lonely because I was there with my best friend and her boyfriend. And I was like on my lonesome kind of like, you know, I'm not because I'm friends with both of them, but naturally you're going to be like, oh, you know, like, taking pictures of them in front of the Eiffel Tower, like,
oh no, oh my God, you're stronger than me. I could never.
For 2.5 weeks too. Like I was so brave. But then just to have people that like would come out and meet me and like just wanted to like hang out with me and were nice. I don't know. I was feeling like lonely and they like made that, you know.
This was this what, October of last year or?
This was this year. This was in November.
Of 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my
yeah.
God.
I know what you mean. Yeah. It was just a few months ago. Yeah. But so you were single then, and because you had a year, I saw you on Zach saying you said you would take like a year off, which is good because you said the longest you were single was 3 months. I was like, oh my gosh. Which again, a lot of it explains. And there's also nothing wrong with being like a hopeless romantic, like wanting love if you thrive in a relationship, especially a healthy one.
There was nothing romantic about my past relationships though. Okay, I was just desperate.
Good. That's good that you know that because that's what I was kind of getting at because I feel like when I was younger, I romanticized a lot of like my assaults. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh, well, this is... The violent is like, that's a whole other level, but it's just like when it's not violent, you're just thinking, oh, well, this is kind of romantic or this is like the movies or something.
And it's the same thing with like, why must I be like aggressively drunk to like feel like this person loves me? Probably not. And I don't drink anymore like that. And I also just like, I feel like being an influencer is scary because it's like, oh, you have access to so many things. Especially living in LA and like the whole, it's icky.
Yeah. It's very icky. That's the best way to describe it. Yeah. And you're kind of removed from LA now. You said you live close to here, which we're removed from LA.
Like I'm even more removed than you.
Yeah, it's
like,
beautiful.
Farther. But
that's the best. It's really, and I'm so happy for you being 21 and like doing your own thing out here because it's just not toxic out here. It's just not, I don't know how to explain it.
And I just live in my like bubble now, which has been very healing for me, and I think I just needed to be away and stop like putting myself in these situations where I wasn't valued or didn't value myself at all. So yeah, I took a year off and I stopped drinking and putting myself in bad situations. And
no dating. Were you tempted to date?
No, I didn't know. I was like, I got to a point where I hadn't felt anything for anyone. Usually the first guy that looked at me, I was like, you're mine.
Wow.
So it was the first time where I didn't have that anymore.
Yep.
And that's when I knew something was changing because I could like go on dates and be like, no, you know, not for me.
Wow. Okay, so you were going on dates, but not like seriously dating. You knew right away if it was not going to work out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is like, again, totally fine because when you're 21, you need to like socialize and stuff. So you knew. I wonder what the change was. Do you think it was just like the universe changing you, or was it something where you're like, okay, in my head, I know what I want?
Well, I just stopped putting so much focus on it, and I put a lot of focus on myself in terms of like what I wanted to do and how I wanted to spend my days. And after that, I felt like, you know, okay, I can see people and see, you know, suss it out. And then no one was doing it for me. I was like,
oh, because you were working on yourself. You're like, okay, I don't need this.
Yeah, because then through the process, I think I subconsciously started to like value myself a little bit more. And then I met my now boyfriend like literally 2 months ago. Like
right after Paris.
So fast. Yeah, I came back from Europe and I went straight to New York and I was like, I have to meet him.
Was it online you saw him?
Yeah.
Or, okay, DMs?
Yeah, like dating app.
Who DM'd for who first?
He messaged me and I was
on a
like,
dating app.
Yeah, and I was kind of trolling. I was only there for 2 days and I was like kind of trolling people. Like,
what does that mean?
like the first thing he said to me, I think, was like, you know what New York needs more of? And I was like, oh, affordable housing. Like,
okay,
I was just kind of like,
cute. That's showing your personality.
Yeah, I was just kind of being like, but I wasn't serious about anything, and I was on it for like 2 days, kind of as a bit. But then I was like, wait, hold on. And then I talked to him while I was in Europe, and I was like, okay, I have to see him. And then I went to New York, and I was like, I'm in love with you.
Oh my God, right away. Love at first sight.
Because I've never really been able to like, I've never really wanted or envisioned like a future or what my future looks like with someone else or like anything like that.
Oh, interesting.
But he's also like, I've never had someone be nice to me. And I was like, wow. And it's kind of like hard for me to
accept it.
Yeah. But I know like he's taught me a lot about that and we relate on a lot of things. But I actually feel like for the first time, I've never not been able to like say bad things about someone. I have nothing bad to say about him. And like usually I'm really good at talking shit on
you're
people.
like, actually.
But this time I'm like, I don't know. It feels very safe. It feels very like nice. And he's driven and he has like his own job that's not, he has nothing to gain from being with me.
Yeah, you're not taking care of him.
He's in school. He's my age. He's 21 and he's like killing it.
Is this your first age appropriate, like age similar relationship anyways?
Kind of, yeah. I feel like everyone's usually like 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 years older than me.
Yeah, and when you're like young, a teenager, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a
so
big
it's
difference.
like cool to like be with someone who's on the same page and driven and doesn't need anything from me. And I just kind of like don't really know what to do in the situation.
Yeah, well, don't overthink it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying not to do because like I said, this is the one thing I don't want to mess up for myself.
Yeah, I think if it's meant to be for you, you can't mess it up because I self-sabotaged our relationship so much, like nonstop. Like I drove to his house just high and naked and all stuff. It was like I sabotaged so many times, and I think like if it's meant to be, it'll happen. So hopefully you don't have to go through that, like the sabotage to see if you'll stay. But
yeah, I don't know. I think I'm doing a good job and I'm being so open and I don't get like weird when he tries to like write me a letter because like usually I get weird with that stuff. You know?
Why? What
Like
do you
someone
mean?
does something nice for me and I'm like
like a handwritten letter he writes you?
He writes me letters all the time. Like I have like stacks and stacks of letters that he writes.
Is this long distance? Is he in New York?
Yeah, but he's sort of in like a transitional process right now, like trying to find a job that's gonna like work more with being with me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So it is kind of going quickly because it's only been a
little
couple
bit,
months.
yeah, but I'm like not afraid of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he's so smart and I can't say that about anyone else that I've been with. And he's so great. And like I'm usually not good at accepting things from people. Like if someone opens a door for me, like I want to throw up, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Like it's like uncomfortable
I feel you. Yeah,
because I'm used to doing everything for everyone else. So I'm
you're like,
trying
why
to
are you
be
doing
like,
this?
I'm like, and that's the thing is my mom was asking, she's like, how do you feel about the situation? And I was like, I feel really good about it, which is why I'm not talking about it to anyone.
Yeah.
Because I'm like afraid.
Yeah.
I don't know, in a way.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to like ruin it. It's like if I talk about it.
And it's so good. And like, I'm less afraid to talk about like my traumas than I am to talk about my boyfriend because I just want to like protect him from the world and like he's so good.
Have you done like a soft launch at all, like hand holding?
Yeah, I posted a picture with him on New Year's, but like
I did. Yes, I saw that one. I didn't know if it was like what it was. Like if it was just like real or just like
oh,
you did like a hard launch then. You're like, here is my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I don't know.
You tag him?
No.
Okay.
But he's private. Like he doesn't really
do social media.
Yeah, like that.
I love that for you.
Which is great.
Yeah. It's hard. It's so hard because like I always want to show my entire relationship when you're so happy. I just like want to put it out there. I'm like, look how happy. But you're doing the right thing, like protecting it so people don't find it and ruin it.
Yeah, and it's like I think that if it's strong, like people, there's nothing that people can't really get in the middle. But like, because he doesn't understand like what I do. And I like to, like he was asking me today because I was coming here. And he was like, are you excited? I was like, no, I'm really nervous. Like, you don't understand. Like, I watch her all the time. Like, I don't know what I'm going to say. And he was like, well, it's just like and I was watching your podcast as I'm like telling him this.
Aww.
And he just like doesn't get it, but he tries.
Right.
But I would rather that than him be like, baby, you didn't post a story with me today. Like, what's going on?
That would give me the biggest stick. Especially, I think at your age too, it's like so many guys are into that, like social media posting and that kind of stuff. That's better.
It's a little icky.
So he's supportive, and even if he doesn't know it, he still gets it. He's still like, I'm supportive of you. I don't get it, but that sounds fun.
Yeah, and he's just, I don't know. I could go on and on about how he's great and how I probably don't deserve him, but...
Oh, well, I think you definitely do.
Thank you.
I think you definitely do. I think everyone deserves love. I think that's like a necessity of life to me. It's like breathing and food. I think like everyone needs to be loved.
Yeah.
I think it's such a strong thing. I think when you're in love, like nothing else really matters. Or when you have love in your life. That's just me. I know not everyone needs to be in a relationship, but
And it's just so different. Like I've never felt like comfortable around someone and I think that's why I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm not afraid of being with him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I'm looking over my shoulder all the time. Yeah. And I've never not had that with anyone.
It's an actual safe space for you now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is actually what it feels like to be safe. And you said you're sober and stuff like that. So the fact that you don't have to be using anything, like it's actual happiness.
Yeah, and that was the other thing that was weird to me is like, oh, you just like, you like me in the afternoon and you like me in the morning the same way that you like me at night. And it's like not... It's just normal and it feels good. And I don't know. And my dad was like, he's so like charming and so quiet, but like whatever. And he's like, are you sure he's not like a serial killer? Because he seems like a little.
Not your dad saying that.
I was like, I think I'm sure. I told him that last night, and he's from Spain, so he like.
Your boyfriend. Oh.
He's from Spain. His English is like his fourth or fifth language.
Oh, I love that.
But he's so like, you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. There's so many things about him that I just think are so cool.
Can I tell you why I haven't dated that many international people, but the few that I have dated, my husband's he's from a different country. It's just like they just treat women so much better, and I'm a firm believer of that. I watched 90 Day Fiancé, and I'm like, I honestly think I love 90 Day Fiancé.
Are you watching the new season?
Yes, of course. Jasmine, Gino and Jasmine, she DM'd me the other day, and I was like, "Do you want to come on my podcast?"
No way.
Yeah, I love Jasmine.
Do it.
Yeah,
I actually love their relationship. Strangely, like I think that she's so like genuine, and she feels things so hard, but like I relate to that.
Yeah, and I think like it's also I do think a little bit personally is like for the camera, like they kind of like because they have to be like in love, and he has to get it, and he has to get her, and I don't know. I just love the new season. Are you talking about 90 Day Fiancé, just the regular 90 Day Fiancé?
Yeah,
is it the one? Because if we are watching one, I get them confused because there's so many like before the 90 days, and whose couple is it?
It's Gino and Jasmine, and then the girl, Sophie.
Is she the British girl with the guy in LA?
The British girl with the guy that's like in Inglewood.
Yes.
Who like doesn't have a bathroom in his house.
Oh yeah, and like doesn't want to get her like she wanted a mattress or something or a mattress cover, and he's like no.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And then there's
God, there is. We watch. Oh, the girl. There's a girl in New York that's like kind of she does like witchcraft or something like that.
Yes, and
or crystals.
Manuel.
Yeah.
Who's her like man?
Yeah, and she speaks Spanish. I love when they speak to each other. And
I know. And then I ask him. I'm like, is that good Spanish? Like, I don't know.
Oh, but like, he's like a critic. Like when I show him like Timothy Chalamet speaking French, he goes, you can tell he's not a native speaker because he like blocks it. I'm like, okay, like
and I love knowing that because I can try. I actually have to take Spanish for college, so he came at the perfect time.
Are you gonna take Spanish?
Yeah, I take my Spanish class soon. He's like, I'll help you.
Oh, that's so and that's so hot too. I love when someone else speaks like different languages.
I know, and I actually want to try to learn. But I feel like when you don't start learning languages young, it's harder to pick up.
It is. I've done some language classes, his language, and I'm just like, it's so hard. It's like literally I
My
can't
brain
do it.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah, as an adult, and then like you have so much other stuff going on, it's just hard. But if you have someone who will like speak it with you, I think it'll make such a difference.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the again with the 90 Day Fiancé, I feel like those international like men, they just I don't know. Do you watch like Darcy and Stacey or any? They were from one of them, and they found their men, and they're like I don't know. I just feel like they're happier with I don't know. That's my personal opinion. I date a lot of American guys that treat me like shit.
Chivalry is a little more real, you know?
I think so too. The romance and just like taking care of like a woman and just making sure she's happy and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is like, it's okay to like have those things. That's what I've been trying to like remember because I'm not used to having, like I said, someone be nice to me and like want to do nice things for me.
Yeah, it's like, it's alarming. You do think something like, oh, is this person like a serial killer? Are they going to kill me? Like, I still think to this day, I'm like, you're being so nice. Like each day gets better and better. I'm like, I feel like you're being too nice to me. You know what I mean?
It's like someday it's going to stop. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that's just how I'm trained to think.
Try not to fear it. I'm the same way. I'm very much the same way, but I try not to fear it. I think after a while, you're just like, okay, this like makes sense.
Yeah. And I tried not to dump all of my baggage onto him right away, which is something usually I just like to get everything out on the table so that there's no surprises. You're not going to like learn anything new and be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But I tried not to do that, and I took things kind of slow, and he's always been like receptive to everything that I say. And today I was getting ready and I forget what I was doing or whatever, and he was like, I forget that you're like famous.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, famous is like that's a big word.
You are definitely famous.
Like saying that.
Has he seen you when you go out in public and get recognized? Has he been with you?
Yeah, we went out to like one of our first dates. We went out at night because I didn't want to go home. The only thing that's open is like we're gonna go out, I guess.
Yeah.
So we went out and everyone at the club was so nice to me. And
oh, really?
He was like, why is it? He's like, everyone like knows you. Like, he was like, do you know a lot of people in New York? I was like, no.
You're like, yeah, you're
like, apparently.
Oh, so like he knew you did.
He knew I had followers.
Yeah.
I don't think he understood how that translated in real life. But I love it because when I'm in situations like that, everyone's so nice to me, and it's like I have a bunch of friends when I go out.
Yeah.
And he was like, he wasn't put off by it, but he was like, this is kind of, different.
Surreal. Yeah. Do you enjoy it when people come up to you?
It depends.
Yeah, definitely.
I think sometimes I feel like a little bit, I don't know, I like when people come and want to talk to me, and like, even if they like already know things about me and they like bring up, like, I'm happy to talk to people. I hate when people just like want something from me. And then I'm like,
yeah.
ugh, but like, I don't know. I love when people like
just like
wanna
a picture and
talk.
buy, like
Yeah.
picture. I don't like the picture and buy because I was like, are you gonna be mean? Are you like a bully that's trying to get this picture? Because I've had that happen with like teenage boys specific. I don't like teenage boys.
Me neither.
They come up and they like, oh, like they'll like, oh, can you have a picture? And then they like say something stupid at the end, like, oh, you like David Dobrik. Someone at Chick-fil-A trolled me the other day with that, like a young guy. I was like, you are so.
But
Anyways.
yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Because like, it doesn't matter if it's like a 12-year-old boy. Like, I'm hurt. You know what I mean? Because you did that to my face. I haven't had any experiences that were like super. Actually, that's a lie. I was in Urban Outfitters once, and this girl walked past me, and she was with her boyfriend. And she goes, "It's Loren Gray. I hate that bitch."
No, what?
She like walked past me.
Oh, that's never happened to me in real life. That would be.
I was like, "Oh, word," and I definitely heard her.
My God.
But one time, this is like a really funny topic. One time when I was like 15 or 16, I was with James Charles.
Oh, okay.
And we were leaving Urban Outfitters. Everything happens at Urban Outfitters.
Oh my God, yeah, nothing good happens at Urban Outfitters.
And we were walking out, and some girl comes out of the door as we're like down the street, and she goes, "James Charles," and he goes, "Hi, sister," and she goes, "You." And he was like, "What do I do?" I was like, "I don't know."
Oh my.
I mean,
was he upset about it? That would upset me so much.
I think he was upset about it. I think he's like trying to play it off, but thankfully nothing like that has ever happened, because I wouldn't know how to handle it.
It's bad. I had that happen once recently in like this area. These young boys. At first, they rolled down their window to take a picture, and I was like, okay. And then they're like, I saw you suck fucking on your porn or something. And they're like teenage boys, and I was like, and like, you fat gross pig or something crazy. Maybe not like all that, but it was definitely fat in there somewhere, fat whore or something. I like was so shook. I like texted Moses, like, oh my God, like it was these like young teenage boys, but yeah, like it was awful. I was like, I really was traumatized for like a few days. I was like, oh my God, no, but like it just. Isn't that crazy how that happens when people say that stuff, like in person? Because like nothing crazy has happened that one time, but it's always, again, young boys. I just
always.
Boys. Yeah. So I'm glad I'm having 2 girls. I don't think I could have a boy. There's just a lot. Yeah. I mean, I like boys, obviously, but when they get older, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't know what to do with
teenage
myself.
boy era, yeah. That's wild. But even the girl in the Urban Outfitters too, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah, and maybe she didn't think I heard her, but like it was.
No,
that's what I'm gonna tell myself. But she for sure was she wanted me to hear it. But it's just, I don't know. I think people, I don't know why they do it. I wish I could psychoanalyze that.
Oh, I tell you why, because I was a hater. They're just so jealous. They're so bitter because they just, especially with influencers, and like I get why I'm jealous too. It's like when you hear like the D'Amelios make like $500,000 per TikTok, or people saying they make. Someone told me they made $1 million on Snapchat. I was like, oh my God. Like, it is so frustrating. Yeah. And people get jealous. And so that's why they just want to make you feel bad.
I'm always like, sometimes I feel like people are exaggerating their financial situations a little bit.
Okay,
sometimes.
I hope so. Because I had so many people come on here and be like, I make $5,000 a day on Snapchat. I was like, what the? Like, what
I mean, there was a point in time with like the Snapchat creator program when that was the case, but not so much anymore. I mean, like,
are you on it?
Yeah,
I'm so curious about it.
I am, and it's like I can show you how it works later. But it's like sometimes I'm looking at these people. I'm like,
there's no way.
What? Who are you talking to?
Yeah, you know? Yeah. Because if supposedly David Dobrik makes $1 million off Snapchat, but then some of these other people who are not David Dobrik saying they make $1 million, I'm like,
well, is he posting like 1,000 times a day?
I'm not on Snapchat. I'm banned from Snapchat, but. But I'm suing Snapchat. They use my stories. They use clips. They use my gender reveal. I was like, I'm going to sue you because they use it. There's like a follower account called Trish that's like 60,000 followers. And I was like, I can't even be on. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. But I don't know how it works, but I just know, I've just heard people are like, oh, David makes $1 million.
Interesting. Yeah, this is where I'm like, where are people getting these numbers from?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to believe. He may be him because he has followers.
Like, I guess it's possible.
But you didn't make $1 million a month off Snapchat.
No, I've never made $1 million a month off Snapchat.
Interesting. Okay, because you do get a lot of interaction on all your socials, so I would assume your
and my Snapchat's not like, it's not like bad.
Are you popping on there? What do you post? What do you?
Kind of just whatever.
Just like pictures of the day.
Yeah, I kind of am in this mode right now where I'm trying to figure out what I want to post because I think I took such a step back that I don't even know what I was posting before.
You don't know? Like, what do you mean? Like, you just were like...
I don't know. I just like got so comfortable not sharing like my life that now it's hard for me to share my life.
Interesting. You're so open. You're such an open book. It's like refreshing. Like, you're very open. You speak very well. You're so like eloquent the way you speak and stuff like that. And even to be like, oh, I understood, like when I was talking about like whatever I said about you and Bryce Hall, you're like, no, I understand it. And like, I get it. And I was like, you're so mature about everything. It's actually insane. And I think that's probably why too. I mean, you just had to grow up fast. I mean, you just, cause you see, like, it seems like I'm talking to like a full-fledged adult. You know, they say 25 is when like the brain is fully adult mode. So it seems like I'm talking to someone that's like
maybe
30.
that applies to men.
Yeah. Right.
You know
well,
what I mean?
maybe 30 for men. I feel like they take a little more long.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, and that's the other thing about my boyfriend that I was like, wow, you're so smart. I've never met a guy my age that like has the emotional intelligence. And maybe it also is because he's not from here. I don't know.
Yeah. He just had a different like culture upbringing and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I
love that for you. I love that you can recognize healthy relationship being just like, he's nice to me, which is like.
And I think I've had to like convince myself, okay, it's not uncomfortable because it's uncomfortable because it's comfortable.
Right.
And that's a very foreign feeling.
Oh, yeah. Mine was always like, if we weren't arguing, I didn't think it was like love. I was like, oh, well, you're not fighting for me. You're not jealous over me. Like, this isn't love. And it took me like a while to like figure out that, that's like not a healthy relationship. So
yeah,
you learn it. You learn it along the way. And your parents have met him, you said?
Yeah, he came for Christmas to Pennsylvania. And he met my parents and my dad and whatever, my mom and my sister. And it was fine. Like, it was good.
They liked him.
And I wasn't, like, scared or uncomfortable or whatever.
Yeah, it just felt easy.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's so amazing. And it's like, quick, but, you know, sometimes when you just know and you feel it and you know the signs of an unhealthy relationship. Yeah. And you're aware and you're sober, so you can get it all. And
it's like I think my exact words to him were like, okay, I'm gonna tell you things, because he was very open with me, and I think that's hard for him too. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell you things, but I'm not damaged, and I'm completely fine. Like, I don't want you to like think something different about me now. But he's always been very receptive and like, I don't know.
The right guy will get it. It can be a lot. It can be a lot to like tell all the trauma over time or whatever, but I feel like there's still stuff I tell him and I'm just like, yeah, this happened. And like, it does almost sound made up sometimes because it's like just randomly I'll like think of things and you're just like, oh yeah, that happened to me. And I say it so casually and it's just like, but I don't know. Sometimes you think it's like not a big deal. I did just to call her daddy, and I was just like, yeah, I was kidnapped like 40 times, and I think everyone's like, that's not real. And I was like, but it kind of was. You know, I was like an adult. I was like 18, but you know, it's like kind of was real. I was kind of just like drugged and taking places and stuff, and they're like, oh,
yeah, that would be what that is. For sure.
But I didn't know. I was like, and then you know, you laugh because I think it's just like one of those things where it's just like I don't know how to talk about this stuff, especially you know. I think over time too, like the more you share and the more comfortable you are, I think you'll like probably share more things that maybe you don't even remember now. You know what I mean?
Sometimes things just pop into my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, that was kind of fucked up.
Yeah. And that's what's so sad. And how do you deal with it and all this stuff? I mean, you are coping very well with everything.
Thank you.
The fact that you're like,
it's like the biggest compliment.
Well, it's amazing how the awareness, the self-awareness and all that. It's really amazing.
Thank you.
How are you doing so you talked about having an eating disorder. Did that start at 13 too?
That started right when I moved to LA. Like pretty much instantly. So when I would say around 15.
15, because you probably don't, I remember this. See, I didn't know who you were because we worked out together with McFit.
Okay, yeah, that's like when it was starting.
Okay, because I was like, I remember seeing you and I remember thinking you were like a big deal and like, of course I like knew who you were and stuff like that. I remember being like, oh my gosh. And I remember, so you were like 17 or 15, you said 15.
15 when it like started, I would say.
When you were working out, how old were you?
Oh my gosh, yeah, like 15, 16.
So you were like 15 or 16, because that was like, it was around 2018.
So when you saw me, I was probably around that age, like 15, turning 16.
Oh my gosh, so you're like working out with a trainer at 15 years old.
Yeah, I just like came and indoctrinated myself into like the lifestyle of like working out and like eating because LA is very different than Pennsylvania.
Right.
And how like the culture is very different.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago, so this is like a normal body type in Chicago, but out here it's like morbidly obese and stuff like that, which is, and then I can't even imagine. I feel so, now with the Ozempic, everyone is just so skinny, and I love skinny. I think it's beautiful. I'm not like whatever, but it's just like sad that everyone feels like they need to be. Did you feel like you needed to be just so skinny? Because you always were thin. Like there was never a time where you were ever big. So what was your just more fear? Where was it coming from?
Also, Ozempic is crazy. Like,
have you ever tried it?
Me?
Yeah.
No, because my thing is
girls
like,
on it.
my dad is, because my dad's a scientist, and whenever like crazy things like this are happening, I ask him like, what's his take? And he was like, well, once you stop taking it, like you're gonna gain the weight back tenfold.
Yeah.
Like it's so unsafe. And like I posted a video about this recently, but I saw this girl posting being like, oh, whatever, about how she eats, and it was like the smallest amounts of food and whatever. I was like, oh, why are we still doing this?
I know. It's like back to like the 90s when like heroin chic was in and stuff like that, and now everyone's just wanting to be as skinny as I mean, scary skinny. It's like where skinny girls are taking Ozempic. It's really
and I
sad.
understand, like, I feel like with social media, everyone wants to like live this character and live this aesthetic, and it's very attractive. Like it is something that everyone fantasizes about, the way that they could look and how whatever. But yeah, I started going to the trainer, and so I got off tour when I was 14. I went on like a tour. My mom was there, and
who were you touring with, or was it your tour?
it was like one of those random social media tours.
Okay.
I don't even remember which one this was, but I got off of the tour, and fans would bring me candy and all whatever. And I was sort of at that point where, like, as a woman, you hit a point where your metabolism's not as fast. And I got home and I didn't fit in any of my jeans, and I was like mortified because I wasn't thinking about it when I was on tour.
Yeah.
But then like that was such a shock. And then I was on live stream one day, and one person commented about my weight.
Oh no.
And I was still skinny. Like I've
Yeah.
always been like, you know,
Thin, yeah.
and that's just how I've always been built. But that like triggered me so much. And then I moved to LA, and it's all anyone talks about.
Yeah.
So then I'm in my head about, okay, if this is going to be my job and this is where I'm going to live, then I have to fit the bill.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, my routine was crazy. I would work out, and I kept adding more and more and more. It's all I did all day. Like I would work out for like 4 hours in the morning, and then I would eat like the smallest meal, and then go back to working out like all night.
Oh my
and wake up and do it every day. And I would post videos, and I was so like, I can't believe no one was saying anything. I was posting videos of myself like in the mirror at the gym, like shaking.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, what a good workout. Like, no, girl, you're malnourished.
Really? Did you physically look a lot different?
Yes. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, also I'm older now, so like you fill out and whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
Where were you seeing it? Your face, your hands? Like, were you just shaking? So
I was skinny everywhere, but it was never good enough.
your energy was just shaking. Because at a young age, you probably can't tell because skin's so tight at that age anyway. So you can't tell the gauntness. But maybe if you're actually shaking,
Yeah,
something's
and
wrong.
I was like built, but like not in like a healthy way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I had abs and stuff, but like in a sickly way.
Oh, interesting. Because you just like weren't eating.
Because I was working out so hard, but then not eating. So like
Yeah.
naturally. But also I had a boyfriend at the time that I was with for a long time who just loved to make me like a Barbie doll. Like he dictated how I did my makeup, the clothes that I wore, like would buy me
What?
clothes so that I like looked how he wanted, would tell me when I was gaining weight.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
was on me about everything.
How would he tell you? What? Like, how would he even see? How would he tell you? He'd be like,
He'd be like, you're getting a little chunky.
oh my gosh.
And I would be like, well, and then so
that's wild.
and he also like compared
my
me to other girls that like whatever. It was a lot. There's so many things.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I was just like on this grind of being like, you know, whatever. And then it just becomes like an addiction.
Yeah.
Then when I was super depressed, I remember I was eating Panda Express, and I was October 2019 eating Panda Express, and I would eat stuff so fast. And then I like made myself throw up for the first time because I'd never done that. I'd always like restricted, but never like purged and binged and any of that.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I was like so disappointed in myself afterwards. Like I was like, I can't believe we let like this get this far. And then like things started switching, and I was trying to make more conscious decisions and whatever. But that's all. I feel like that's something everyone struggles with in a sense. Maybe not that extreme, but like social media is so bad for that.
Was it like, I've never dealt with like bulimia or anything like that. Was it something where you're just like, I want to throw up so I can feel better? Like you felt like sick
it's like
or something?
I feel like I can't. Like I wasn't even used to having that much food in my body either, so it was uncomfortable. Also,
I see. So you're just like, okay, so you're uncomfortable. I always wonder where that like stems from. I mean, I know it's like a disease, and it's like there's no really explanation for it, but
yeah, it's like guilt mixed with like I'm uncomfortable because like I just ate so much food that my body like cannot, like my body's not used to.
Was that your only time you did that?
That was the first and only time, because after that I was like, something's got to change, because this is like, there's so many things with bulimia, like your stomach acids erode your teeth, and there's so many things about eating disorders that people don't talk about too, like you smell bad, your hair falls out, your teeth, like all of these things, because you know, like the heroin chic and all the things that are glorified, when like really when you're having this, but like your breath smells all the time, like you can't, there's certain things that like are gross about it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things that I feel like people don't talk about, and it's like, the people want to just be so skinny, but it's like, okay, what comes along with it? You know, your health, everything just deteriorates, your energy, and
and you're like, even I've tried to tell people, because some people will be like, okay, I know for myself, I was like, okay, yeah, it's unhealthy and like whatever, but I'll be fine.
Right.
But then I feel like sometimes people need to hear the things that are like gross about it.
Yeah, so they're like turned off. So like it's like Ozempic too, when I hear people's stories of not even just gaining the weight back, but also just being like, yeah, for like a week or two, your stomach's just ripped apart. And I'm just like, I don't know if that's worth it for even 2 weeks.
Why would you want that?
Yeah, and you don't know the long-term effects. But yeah, I think hearing those things, because I'm one of those people, I'm like, I want to take Ozempic, everyone's getting so skinny. But then you just hear those things. Like, I'm scared. I'm scared of so many things.
It's like, if you're this is what I tell everyone, because like I have friends who like don't have ADHD, but they want to take Adderall to focus and like study. I understand the thought process behind all of that. But if you're taking something that's not meant for you, or it's like for something that you're not diagnosed with, it's never going to be the safest thing.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're playing with fire there a little bit.
Oh, totally. And the Ozempic is meant for, you know, breaking down sugars for like diabetic people.
Yeah, like people with diabetes who need that to be at like a normal level. If you're already at a normal level and then you don't know what you're doing.
Right. What's it eating? Your fat, your muscle. Once the fat is gone, then what? It's like it is scary. I think that, with the eating disorders too, I mean, it's just hard. But I know eating disorders are like a lot more psychological too. You know, a lot of people can't stop.
And a lot of it is like, for me, a lot of it was control. It was like the one thing that I could control. And I think for a lot of people, it's not just about being skinny. It's all the other things that go into it, of like, I need to feel like this is something that, you know, I do, and there's a result. Yeah. And then you get sort of addicted to like that, okay, I'm doing this and I'm getting a result, and I'm doing it even more extreme, and without realizing it, now you look like a bobblehead. I looked like a bobblehead. I look back at pictures of myself and my head looks like it didn't fit on my body.
Yeah, you can usually tell when people are going through something like that. I've never dealt with something like that, because it's like the control feeling. It's like, how do you get out of that then? How do you transition where you're like, okay, now I'm okay? Like, how's your relationship now with food?
Hit and miss. Yeah. Like, I feel like there's certain things that I'm just like put off to. But I made so many rules for myself during that time, and some of them I still like have a hard time like eating after 7. I used to never eat after 7. But now like we come home and my boyfriend wants to cook, and I'm like, okay, like it's 9 and it's a little triggering, but I'll do it. Yeah. And like breakfast was another thing. I never ate breakfast. Now I try to like have a bagel, have like something. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I've made like small changes that have added up to a better way of thinking. Yeah. But it's really hard.
Oh yeah. I don't think it ever fully goes away. I always wonder, I'm like, is there anyone out there that doesn't struggle with food, that just like has like, they never think about it?
I would love to meet them, because because everyone that I know has a struggle to some extent, and it sucks. I think social media just exploits that to like the maximum though.
Do you like people sharing, like, how do you think, like people just showing off their weight loss, or what is it that you think glorifies it?
All of it. I think that like, this is kind of like deep and philosophical, but as humans, we're not supposed to be exposed to this much of the world. Yeah. And like to be exposed to the most like beautiful, unobtainable people, and then have those people on a level where you feel like that's achieved. You know what I mean? Yeah. And a lot of it's not, and a lot of it's not real. And I just feel like there's so much information that we're just like thrown all of the time, that like no wonder everyone's a little messed up. Yeah. Because it's such a short period of time for so much information to be like there.
And then you're comparing yourself to, like, you growing up on social media, I'm like, I couldn't even imagine, like, you compare yourself to so many other people. Like, we didn't have that. We just had our hometown where everyone kind of looked the same. We were all a little chunky. But then to see people, like, on social media at, like, 13 look like you, I'd be like, oh, my God. Like, I would just, like, hate myself. I would be like, you know.
And that was the thing, too, is, like, I was so, like, I learned how to do makeup because I was bullied for the way that I looked. And then I didn't value myself even more. So I just, like, that was my thing, was, like, my makeup and my hair, and this is who I am.
And then you become hypersexual, and that's a whole other thing. Then you're
And
attracting
that's
the
a whole
wrong
other
people.
thing. Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's an escape in a way, but I also feel like there's just so many things to be exposed to. And I almost feel like, in a way, I'm glad that I was sort of on that pedestal in a way, because yes, I had people commenting, but I was never really looking at other people so much in the way of like, I didn't have influencers that I looked up to.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like that, I can't imagine being a kid now.
Yeah.
And there's so many influencers and everyone has like this perfect life. And
Yeah.
you want to be an influencer and everyone's famous.
Oh, everyone. But then it's like, do they want that? Like, did you know, like, you knew people were influencers that made, like, money and stuff like that, or you just didn't really know that world?
I just didn't really understand that. Like, there was
see.
people that I watched.
Right.
But to me, like, it wasn't real people.
It's not like now where everyone just knows, like, I'm going to be a TikToker.
Yeah,
I'm going to be famous.
it was like TV shows. It was like I was watching these people, but I wasn't like commenting on the videos or
Right.
interacting with them. There were people that like I watched and liked, but
And there was no TikTok. So, like, TikTok now is like anybody can go viral. It's like so crazy.
and now everyone's so like the connection is so close, and you're like in this world, and it's very scary, and I can't like. Have you seen the memes about people being like 10-year-olds on TikTok?
Though, like the drunk elephant, 10-year-olds.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that real or is that just like a thing? I don't know.
I've seen it. I've seen the get ready with me's, and it's
like 10-year-olds. I haven't seen it. I just hear people talking about 10-year-olds going to Sephora getting drunk elephant. I'm like, what?
yeah, they're so, and the way that they speak, like they're so grown.
I know.
And
It's scary.
I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot of information for people.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want my daughter to have social media until like 18. I hope it's different. Like when she's 18, she's like 1 now. It's like maybe there'll be a different thing, you know, like it's not social media, it's AI or I don't know what it is, something.
I think about that because I'm like, yeah, I wonder what it would be like to raise a child in this sort of universe.
Oh, yeah, because it's just like everyone gets messed up and even if you have the best parents, like people just, you know, comparing yourself to others, all this stuff is like not healthy, trying to be so skinny and
Yep.
it's just all
And especially with girls, like, I don't know how my mom navigated it's so impressive to me how she like managed to, you know, I still came out of it like a decent person.
Yeah, I mean, how anyone knows how to deal with that and the stuff that happened to you too. I couldn't, even now, I couldn't even fathom, like, what would I do in this situation to help I don't know. Like, how do you help someone besides having them talk to someone, but then that doesn't always help either.
Yeah, and then like, also, my mom would just like, if I had a problem at school, my mom was in there. You know what I mean? She would storm in.
Yeah, she's like, don't do that to my daughter.
I was like embarrassed at the time, but looking back, duh, yeah.
Yeah, I would do that too. Yeah.
And like people were threatening to jump me, and my mom is like, run home.
Oh my
You know
gosh.
what I mean? Because she was at work. She was like, just run home.
Oh my gosh.
So there was like,
Jeez.
my mom was always there, and she, especially with this, because none of my parents were in the entertainment industry. Like my mom, my dad, they're normal people.
What do they think of it now? Like you doing your music and stuff? Are they like, they love it? Or
I mean, they like support whatever I decide to do. My dad both my parents still want me to finish college. So I'm doing that.
Oh yeah. Are you like done, right? Or you had an AA, you said?
I have 2 more semesters till my AA is complete. I took like a year off because I was traveling crazy.
And you're going back.
I'm going back
Oh my gosh.
this February.
You're very pro college. I like that about you because I'm not anti college. I never went, but I'm like, you don't need college. But I love that you're so pro college and about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I think everyone's different. I think there's people you can't like force college down people's throats.
Yeah.
But I think for me, being in like a work environment or a universe where everything's so like culture and using like my slay boots the house down brain instead of like my math statistics, you know, functioning cognitive brain.
Yeah.
I feel like it's nice to have that balance and something more structured and something less like, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's good.
More balance.
Yeah, and I love writing papers, and I like writing things and
gosh.
doing things that have nothing to do with me. You know what I mean?
So what you like writing stories, like, or
I just love writing like argumentative essays. I took like as many English classes as I can because I love English.
Wow.
Like I love books and talking about books or talking about. I took one class that was all about AI and like the future, and
my
I got to write so many cool
gosh.
papers.
wow. So you just like write books. You're like, To Kill a Mockingbird. Let me write a 20-page essay about it and what it really means in our society today.
But I like when it's like structured. Like I have until this time to do it, and then someone's gonna grade it. Because I like when someone's like tells me, like reaffirms, like that was good.
Oh my God, that's so cool. That's amazing because that's something I think most people don't have. So what was the future class you took?
It was an English class, but I just had to write about facial recognition and artificial intelligence and like self-driving cars and different research things.
Were you like reading something in English that like sparked that, like what the future looks like?
They would give us like articles, and then we would read the article and pick an argument. So it would be like facial recognition, is it ethical?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you wrote, how big of a essay did you write?
That one was maybe like 12 pages.
Wow.
But it's like, you're like, is it ethical? Is it invasive? And then it's just nice to talk about something that's not me.
Right. So I get that. Like, it's also like a distraction. Like, it's something different for you. So what was your argument? Is it ethical?
I don't remember. I think
You're like, I don't like it.
I think I argued the point of like, I honestly couldn't tell you because the article was very biased also. I don't know. It's very like uninteresting, honestly.
No, it's so interesting. I think it's like also shows like your intelligence because you did a 4.0, right? You had a GED. You graduated with a GED.
Yeah.
So you got homeschooled. You did mostly homeschool for most of it. I love that. I think I'm definitely going to homeschool my daughter because I had a bad school experience. I had a horrible. I know you said, like the bowling. I know some people have great, and I'm like, that's amazing, but
yeah, good, great.
Yeah,
but
mine was awful.
I don't know. I think, I think I would have done well. I think there's like certain socialization things that you need, obviously, but you can facilitate that from a safe place, maybe.
Yeah, and I feel like you got that with social media, right? You got that meeting friends.
I got it in like a really interesting, weird way.
Yeah,
but
a little roundabout. I think either way, I don't know. School is not completely healthy either. You know what I mean? I think there's all a little bit toxicity no matter how you socialize.
And I love like the learning aspect. I don't love the in person. Judgy, clicky.
Oh, same. I loved school. I was actually really good at it too, but it's just like the other parts of it, the group projects and people judging and the PE and the wearing clothes to school. All of it was just a lot.
Yep. Those are the things that like I don't.
Yeah, especially, I don't know. And then there's, it's not just the students, it's like teachers. This is everything happening. It's all
I had teachers like call me a whore to my face. Like,
I had to. I had someone like, I wore a water bra every day and they called me out and he would like squeeze it and like just weird shit.
Yeah.
And you don't know at the time. Like again, to me, it wasn't like trauma. I was like, okay, this is just something he's being funny or whatever. And then it's like, oh no, that's like so ick.
But again, they're like people that are.
You had teachers call you whore.
Yeah. They said they were talking about my Instagram in the teacher's lounge. Also, this was my favorite teacher telling me this. I would like eat lunch with her when people were like mean to me. I had gone into the next grade, whatever, and I was passing her class and she like pulled me aside and told me that like teachers were commenting on my Instagram and how I was inappropriate. And I was like, okay.
That makes me like, and why are they talking about that in like like
and why are you looking at my Instagram?
Yeah, that's weird. Oh,
like,
I don't like.
I was 12. Like, why are you looking at my Instagram? And I was wearing a little crop top and it was cute.
Yeah, I know, and that's like something that you shouldn't be discussing. You know what I mean?
Or
why looking
are you looking? That's the thing. I don't know.
No, they definitely
so many weird things in school.
Yeah, I have the same way. I know, like, every time I talk about it's like a hot button issue for some people because it's like not every teacher's like that. But I'm like, you know what? I had like the majority. I would say like 50% of my teachers were very inappropriate. And women too.
I'm so happy for people who don't have those experiences.
Yeah.
But like, it's the same thing I was saying when you realize your parents are just people and then you realize teachers are just people.
Yeah.
And not people that you like know.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you're supposed to just blindly trust.
No, you see stuff on TikTok like with like my daughter's like daycare age and like people that leave their kids at daycare and the daycare people like yelling at them or like hitting them or something. It's like so. And again, not all of it, but I know you don't have to like live your life in fear. But I'm like that's enough for me to be like no, especially because she can't talk yet. I'm like I'm not gonna take her there.
And that's like I put cameras all over my house because I left for 2 months. So I put cameras all over my house in California because I have 2 cats. Oh. And like I have people who take care of my cats, but I've also seen videos of people who like trust their best friends to watch their dogs and their dogs get thrown at the wall and like die.
It's crazy. It's wild. Or like, we're the same way, very much the same. Like I just make sure there's always someone watching her, whether it's my mom or something like that. But I'm always like putting cameras everywhere. I'm like, just in case, and not that it's my mom, but just you never know in case someone doesn't know what happened. Like, oh, I don't know.
And there's so many people that come in and out of my house like, yeah. And I was like, at first I was like, this might be a little weird, walking around someone's house or doing something. And then there's like cameras everywhere. I was like, you know what? No, because if you're uncomfortable, then you're doing something wrong.
Exactly. I don't mind going into anyone's house knowing I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm like, I go into people's houses thinking they're filming me. I just like, because not that I do anything weird, but you just never know. People are weird.
And when I tap into a camera, it makes a little noise on the camera. Oh. So like I'll tap in when like my house is getting clean or something. It'll be like beep. And I'm like,
oh my God. Do they look? Are they like, what the hell?
I mean, probably. I don't know. It's like kind of grainy.
It's definitely never, you should never be too, what's the word? It can't be too cautious. Especially with like, you have people in your house and
crazy things can happen. I don't know.
Yeah, but we're in a safe area. Like we were talking, this is like it's a very safe area. Like it never, I don't think anything crazy happens here.
Yeah, I feel like people, it's pretty safe.
Yeah.
mean, there's always some craziness everywhere you go. But
I feel like we just need to not think about it. Because again, that's like bringing it to fruition. It's like I try not to think about it. I'm like, everything's fine. Everything's safe.
I've had people show up to like my old house and like ask me for pictures when I like lived by myself. I was like, okay, this
Where was this, Hollywood?
Glendale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's surprising. I was at Glendale. But that's kind of in the city too. Yeah, Studio City is where I lived and it was horrible during quarantine. People would like show up and just, it was really, and I had 24-hour security and they still were showing up. It was so insane.
But you don't have that problem
Yeah.
here.
No, that's why I love it out here. Like keep going with it. And you too, we're in the same area. So it's
Very nice.
Well, your like life really is. We were talking about country music earlier. I'm like, you really could write a country album now that I know all this stuff to it. But I love Guilty. I thought it was like so good.
Yeah.
That's independent. You released that yourself. Why Guilty? Like, did you feel guilty? Were you guilty of something? Like, what was the?
That was like the first song that I wrote for the album, and I felt like so much of my music that I was making with a record label was so dishonest. And
Was Queen with a label?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Queen was with a label.
It's very poppy. It's very Britney. It's
which
cute.
is great.
Yeah.
But like I kind of wanted to delve deeper, and like I said, I love writing. So I felt like I had more to say. And then Guilty was the first song from that where I was like, okay, this means something to me. So I wanted to make it the title track.
And you wrote it?
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
wrote it.
gosh.
I did like a writing camp with a bunch of people, and we just like wrote we did 2 different ones, and we were just like me and some friends.
And where did it come from? Where was that?
I think I felt like I had a lot of things to say, and I wanted to write songs that felt more honest, because I would bring songs to the label. They didn't like anything that I wrote myself. And then they brought me a song. This is kind of around the time that I left. They brought me a song that was about being bisexual, and I'm not bisexual.
Oh.
So I told them, I was like, I can't sing this.
That's so random.
This is just not like, you don't understand. Like I can't sing it and like not and like live it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't. This is not an honest thing for me.
That's your
I will
anthem.
get called out. Like. And they were like, but it's a hit. And I'm like, okay, well, you can take that hit to someone who likes boys and girls, because I can't sing it.
That's so random.
Yeah. And after that, they just like stopped bringing me songs. And I was like, okay, I'm going to
Wait,
go.
really?
Yeah. Because I said no, and you're not like really, like, you say no, you're going against like the judgment of the man.
Wait, what? That's wild. You just said no to one song and like, nope, no more for you.
Pretty much. I mean, there was a lot of other things that they just did not know what they were doing with me.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
They did everything but listen to me. And
because they saw you as one thing and they're like, this is what you are.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, you are Britney.
Yeah.
Like,
and you don't want to be that. Because that's what I got from your music. I was like, oh, this is very Britney vibes.
Yeah, and it's not even that I didn't want to be that, because there was aspects of that I loved. Like, I do love pop music. I do love to dance. But I wasn't allowed to have any versatility. It was like, you are sex symbol, blonde, bombshell, which I love. Like, I do love that character, but music is also so personal.
Yeah.
So I wanted that bit of, I guess, more depth. I don't know.
Yeah, like you wanted more. Did Breadcrumbs, did you write that, or was that Hayes?
Hayes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so this is an interesting story. I thought this was one of the most interesting stories I've ever heard. So one of you had a boyfriend that cheated on you with her.
Yeah.
Or
kind of.
They were
like,
cheating
it's like
mutually.
kind of exaggerated for the storyline.
Okay.
But
So
yeah.
it wasn't, because I was like, wait, is this real? And then you're like, you know what? Let's get together and do a song together.
Yeah, no, it's like
Okay.
we have mutuals and whatever, but it was not that deep. It was like,
okay. So you weren't with the same guy.
no, not like directly.
Okay. I was like, this
not
literally
directly. But we were like, it's a funny story.
Okay. I was like, wow, this is a really small world.
Yeah, no, it's not like that serious, not that close. But
how did you guys know each other then? You guys were friends?
She works with similar people to me, and the song was sent to me, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I just loved, like, I met her, and I was like, I love her.
Yeah.
She's so fun. I loved being around her. Like, when I met my boyfriend, I stayed with her in New York, and she, like, sent me off.
Oh, my
And it was really cute. It was really fun.
So she's like, have fun. So she was there, like, when it first all happened. That was the first date. Like, hey.
She has, like, the video of me leaving to, like, see him for the first time. It's really cute.
I love stuff like that. Yeah, I was at my mom and sister's when he picked me up for the first time, and I was like, I just remember it so much. Like, oh, look, they're looking to see who it is. And stuff like that.
Exactly.
That's so fun. Who's your dream collab musically, or not musically?
I don't know. I feel like, obviously, like, I'm definitely a Swiftie. I love Taylor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are in like I don't know if she's country anymore. I consider her country, but maybe she's not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I love her so much.
Really? Did you go to her
Yeah.
Eras tour?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I
Did you go with a
did.
company? Did you get like sponsored to go?
No, so I bought tickets, but then I was in one of her music videos
What?
for a while ago.
Which one?
The Man.
I'm a new Swiftie. My co-host
That's okay.
loves Taylor Swift.
It's okay. I get it.
Yeah. Okay. The man.
It's like, it's such like a thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
Oh my gosh.
I get it. Like you're drifting in.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I love her. I'm into it. I'm slowly getting it. I'm like fully not there, but
There's
I'm
a lot
there.
of like lore and you know a lot to get, but I love her so much.
So this music video, how old were you?
I think I was 17 at the time for that too.
How did you get in it? They called you or?
I didn't know really who the music video was for fully until I was like there.
Wow.
But it was like, you're going to want to do this.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay. But yeah.
Were you featured? Were you like, can you see you in the video?
Yeah, I was like, there's a tennis scene and I was like the ball girl. She says my name in the video, which I like, wish I could frame a video.
Wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
What did she say? She says like your name, Loren. Like, hey, Loren.
She's like, basically the music video is about her. She's like in full prosthetics as a man. And then she, at the end, is like directing this like douchey like guy, which is also her in like prosthetics.
Okay.
And I'm explaining this very poorly.
It's very One Direction. No, I love it.
But then at the end, she's like, I basically do nothing. I just stand there and like roll my eyes and whatever.
Okay, you're like the hot girl in the video?
Like the guy,
the mean girl, you're like,
I'm like rolling my eyes because he's being a douche, like throwing a fit on the tennis court and like throwing the balls and like whatever. And so I'm like rolling my eyes and just standing there. And the moral of the story is at the end, she says to male version of her, she's like, that wasn't basically like sexy enough. And she's like, by the way, good job over there, Loren. Because like I did nothing. You know what I mean? I just like stood there.
Oh my God, that's kind of everything.
Yeah. And she was just like the nicest person I've ever met. And that for me, I've met so many girls that I looked up to that I'm just like, you suck.
Yeah.
So to meet her, who I've like idolized above everyone, and have her like, she knew where I was from, and we're from like the same area in Pennsylvania, and she like talked to me, and she didn't have to.
Oh, she did? You had like a conversation with her?
Yeah, and she talked to me like music and whatever, and I was just like so in awe that someone could be so successful and so sweet. And
that makes me like her even more, because so many times on music videos specifically, like you don't go into guitar to the artist by their choice or whatever, it just doesn't happen. So
yeah,
wow,
like I was just,
how
and
I
loved
talk about
her
that more. I would be.
I talk about it all the time.
Oh, you do?
I talk about it all the time.
I did a deep dive and I did not know this.
If someone even like slightly, if there's like slightly an in for me to mention Taylor Swift, I'm like, yes, I was in the video.
Oh my God, I don't know. I've never. And have you shown it on TikTok where you like green screen it behind you or something?
Yeah, but like
I never saw this.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people that I feel like people knew me from that. You know what I mean?
No
like they didn't know.
way.
A lot of people just probably didn't know who I was until that, because there was so many articles that were like, "Who is this person? It's in Taylor's video."
So are you just like back there by her, like just you and Taylor, like the Taylor male version of Taylor and you?
Yeah, and it was crazy because I'm like kind of in the scene. It's kind of hard to explain.
I need to see this. I need to watch it. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
How
but like,
did I not know? I literally did so much. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's like that's one of my like biggest favorite things that I've ever done.
Yeah, you're like, I can't like top that. That's so cool.
It's so hard to top. But yeah, the nicest person ever. Like, and I was a fan of her obviously before that. Like a huge fan, but after that I was like, I'd do anything for her.
Oh my God. So then the show, you bought the tickets, and then
I bought the tickets, and then they like moved me, and it was really nice.
They recognized, like, who recognized you? Someone from her team?
No, like they knew I was going and whatever. And
did you post about it or something? Like
No, we have like team members in common.
Oh, okay. That's so cool. I love that. Oh my God, how awesome.
But I just love her.
Oh my God, so that would be your dream collab.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. Did she collab with people? I don't even know.
Sometimes, like on Volt Tracks, like Fall Out Boy collab.
She a Fall Out Boy?
Yeah,
wow.
She's a Fall Out Boy collab. She's a Hayley Williams. There was a lot on Speak Now, I think. Yeah, there was like quite a few on like the Speak Now TV.
You also said you liked Eminem before we started. You're like, I love the era of Eminem. Like,
I love him. I have like the tattoos that I have are all artists or movies.
Okay, I wondered because you have 1148 on your arm.
That's my parents' address.
Oh,
but like
okay. What's the other ones?
But like these are all Lil Peep. That was my
wow. I didn't know you're a hip hop girly.
Yeah, I mean it's like emo hip hop though. It's like sad emo hip hop.
A little bit. I don't know. I'm not sure. Little Peep. I just thought of him as like a rapper.
But it's like sad emo vibes, which I love. I have like my My Chemical Romance tattoo here.
Wait, what do you have?
It says "So Long and Good Night" on my ribs right here.
Oh, when did you get that?
When I was like 18.
Oh, that's like my dream tattoo. I always wanted it. I'm so scared.
I love it. It's one of my favorites. It's right here.
Oh my God, I had no
one
idea.
here.
What's your M&M one?
It says here today, gone tomorrow.
Oh my God, so you're like super fan. Like you're getting tattoos of people.
These are all Taylor. This is Taylor. This is Taylor.
Wow. Wait,
Yeah.
what's this one?
That's a bone arrow. That's from the song The Archer, which is one of my favorite songs of hers.
Oh my
And this is from Seven, and also one of my favorite songs, but they're like very meaningful. Like The Archer is all about, she's like, I've been the archer, I've been the prey. Who could ever leave me, but who could stay? It's like, I've come for people, like they've hurt me, but like who's gonna stay?
I love the only Taylor Swift song I really stand and I totally relate to it is like is it Blank Space?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Where she got a long list of ex-lovers who'll tell you I'm insane and I've got a blank space, baby. I'm like, that's so, I always thought that was like my
best friend
anthem.
told me that was that was my song.
I think all the like crazy girl anthems are totally that because it's like, it's gonna go down in flames. I'm like, this is literally my story too.
I feel like if you really start digging into Taylor lore, I think you would love it.
Relate it. I know. I feel
like once you start relating things and realize like what she's saying in different songs, like especially in like Evermore, Folklore, once you start digging in, I feel like you'll be like, okay, I get it.
Everyone I know is like obsessed with Taylor. And I'm like, I need to give it. I'm so like, I hyperfixate on one person at a time. So like, I think I'll have my era of it. It just hasn't come yet.
So you're in your weekend era.
I'm in my weekend era, yeah.
Like how cool.
I love the weekend. Do you like the weekend?
I do like the weekend.
I feel like lately people come on like, I hate the Idol. I hate the weekend. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I actually didn't hate the Idol. I saw the vision.
Because you're a trauma girl like me.
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't hate it. I heard Tana on Canceled be like, this was actually really traumatizing. I need to talk to Trisha why she thought this was hot. I was like, I'm like, I don't know actually.
I don't know. It's also hard because I understand. I know they had like some production issues and like some weird stuff with like that.
Yeah, it was supposed to be more girl, and then it became sexual and.
It's not bad. I don't know why people hate it. Like, do you know why people hate it?
I think they were just saying like it's like I actually don't know. I'm guessing either hypersexual, misogynistic, bad storyline. People said, but I loved the storyline. I didn't think it was misogynistic at all. I thought the end made it not misogynistic. That she was kind of in control this whole time. Like she was kind of lying and manipulating him.
Yeah,
is what I got from it. But maybe I'm looking at it through warped eyes.
No, that's what I thought too. Okay. Is like she sort of took control of him at the end.
Yeah, she kind of took advantage of this. She's like, okay, yeah, with her friend that, Troye Sivan's character and stuff like that, she was lying and saying all this stuff that wasn't true, and he was getting like tortured, and she was just kind of like living for it and having, and even with the hairbrush, her mom never beat her with the hairbrush at the end of it, and she kind of
that was crazy. That was definitely crazy.
He's like, wait a minute, I don't know. I just thought it was like, wow, it was such a good ending. I don't know.
I was. Are they making like a season 2?
No, it got canceled, but I'm hoping I'm bringing it back. I hope it like comes back.
Somehow. Yeah, I want to know what's happening.
Oh, you could have. Oh my God, you could have played Jocelyn. That is so your vibe.
Oh my God,
sure.
No one wants that.
Have you ever acted? No, you would be.
I have a movie coming out this year.
What?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Have you talked about
it? Briefly, like I've mentioned it. It just got announced that it's Netflix bought it. So. Yeah.
When did you film this?
2021 was when we were filming.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you bleach blonde Loren in this? Mm-hmm. And are you playing what kind of character? Supporting, but like basically there's like 2 different storylines that are happening, and my character is like the it girl, whatever. Ooh. But like I make quite the mess of myself, and I think like it was definitely out of my comfort zone because the role itself is like kind of embarrassing and like awkward, and but the it girl is why
it's a comedy.
Okay.
And like I don't even know what I'm allowed to say.
Okay,
I'll tell you more like off camera. But it's like it's very like messy and embarrassing, and like the comedy is that I'm making a fool out of myself.
Oh,
and,
cute.
But it's fun.
So you're the comedic relief.
Yeah, in a way, but I'm also like the plot line for like some of the characters. So it's it's really interesting, and it was like the first, because I never wanted to take an acting role because of like my following. Mm-hmm. So I was happy that like I'm not a main character, and the movie is not like about me or like what I can bring to the table.
Yeah.
I had to do like 5 rounds of auditions and in person and calls. And,
wow.
Yeah.
How did you get are you with an agency?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have like an agent and they're pitching you for acting, and this was like your first act. So you can act. I mean, you got this role after 5 auditions.
Yeah, and I like really, really wanted it because I thought the role would be so like I've always wanted to do something in comedy.
Oh my God.
And so it was so far out of my comfort zone, and they asked me so many times like, "Are you sure that you want to do this?" Because it's like definitely out there, and I was like, "Yeah," and it's not like hypersexualized or anything. It's more so just like kind of something you wouldn't expect.
Is it like comedy as in like American Pie, like R-rated, or is it like PG-13? It's like Mean Girls,
like super bad, like coming of age type, but like kind of out there.
And you're like the
comedy.
hot girl in the movie. Oh my God, you're living my dream. I always wanted to be the hot. Are you in high school in the movie? Like you're a high schooler?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to play a hot high schooler my whole life. I was like, I
only really got to be hot for like a couple days of shooting out of like months.
And then the rest of the time, like,
the rest is me just like a mess.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see it. Who else is in it? Can you say, or is there big names in it?
Yeah, Mason Thames, who's in Black Phone, he's like one of the main characters.
Okay.
And then there's like a bunch of other really talented little actor boys. I'm not super like familiar with the acting world.
I'm not either. You could say the biggest person. I just found out Jacob Elordi like last year, like a few months ago. I was like,
I'm really bad at names and faces, but like I know the kids that I was working with and they were super talented. But it was weird because like I didn't shoot with everyone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I know who's in the film, obviously.
Right.
But like I didn't get to meet everyone.
Oh my gosh.
Or like briefly, you know.
Wow, that is so exciting. Oh my God. So when does it come out? It comes out this summer.
No idea.
Oh my God.
It got sold and like I've heard nothing of like when it's coming out.
Have you seen it?
Nope.
Oh my God. So do you get to see? Do you think you'll get to see it before it comes out?
Probably.
Like a premiere or something like that?
I would love to. But like I am excited for it because I actually worked really hard to be good at it.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. I feel like some people, I think it's really hard for influencers to like transition. Even if they are talented, it takes them like a minute. Like I know Addison Rae got like a lot of shit for the he's all that, whatever it was. I thought it was good. But then you see her and think, maybe she's so good. You know, it's like I think it's just like people don't want to take it seriously at first, you know?
And it's just like people don't want to, I guess, accept the fact that one person can be multifaceted.
Right. They're like, yeah.
And even if it's not perfect, like, good for you for trying.
Oh, the fact that you got casted, I'm sure that means you were good. Because I think there's a lot, I know a lot of TikTokers who said they've auditioned, even YouTubers. I know Shane Dawson, like, auditioned for Scream 4 and didn't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's so many, I know David Dobrik auditioned for, like, a Marvel movie and didn't get it. You know, there's so many influencers that are huge that, like, don't get these roles. So I think you do have to have some talent to get it. You know what I mean?
I hope that's I think that's the case. But, like...
Oh, I know it is.
I wanted to work really hard at it. And the set days were long and it was, like... It was a lot. But I was... like, there's things that I've turned down, too. Like, a while ago... do you remember when Cameron Dallas was on Broadway?
Yes.
So
Mean Girls.
I got offered to figure out a part.
Stop it.
And I
in Mean Girls?
For the Broadway musical. And I said no because I'm not. No. But listen. But hear me out.
That's
hear
like my dream. Oh
I sing, sure.
Yeah.
But like not like that. And I think
Cameron Dallas doesn't sing. Period.
Sure, but I just know when it's like. This is not, yes, could I probably have an opportunity because of like the following or because of whatever, but like, am I a Broadway singer? No. Are there people that train their whole lives to do that and like they should absolutely do that? Yes. Let them have it.
No, I feel like there's, especially for like those few months, take the opportunity, girl, take it. That's so,
I was also young and like
huge.
scared of being embarrassed. Like I knew I wasn't the best singer at the time, and I was just like, "This is scary."
Do you have any idea what role, or they were just trying to figure it out for you?
It was like one of the blonde roles.
Oh my God! But you said no.
But I was scared, and even if it was just an audition, I was scared because I knew that I wasn't capable of singing that well, and I knew I wasn't trained, and I knew people would be upset, and I knew it deserved to go to someone else.
I don't think so. I think you would have surprised a lot of people. I did see Cameron Dallas in it. I saw Mean Girls probably 24 times on Broadway. Actually, maybe 12. And I saw Cameron, and like, yeah, he's not a singer, but I was like. Good for him for doing this. Like, I mean, who's not going to take that opportunity?
Me. I was too scared.
That makes me, oh my God, that breaks my heart.
But like, and who knows, like they might have been like, yeah, you're not built for this role either. But I was just even scared of like walking in the door. Because I was like, I don't know. I just feel like I know what my strengths are. And I'm a much better singer now than I was at the time. But even then I was like, oh girl, I can't sing like that.
They also train you. Like Pamela Anderson, I saw, in Chicago, and they train you to sing. She's not a singer or dancer.
Didn't they was that in her documentary?
Yeah, at the end. Mm-hmm. And and Chicago's known for stunt casting. They just had Ariana from, I don't know that show, Vanderpump Rules. I don't know. She's some scandal. And she's like the new Roxy. I feel like they just train those people, but you are a performer. So like they would be able to train you. No problem. Would you do it now?
I think like my confidence is definitely better than it was. I was just so like afraid of being embarrassed my whole career.
Okay, but Mean Girls on Broadway doesn't even do stunt casting like that. So the fact that they would have even offered you an audition is like huge, like except for Cameron Dallas.
Yeah, and I was so stoked. But then at the end of the day, I was like, girl, this is not for you.
Oh, you probably could have done it because Sabrina Carpenter, I think, went in right before COVID, and Renee Rapp was in it right before COVID. You probably could have gotten in there because it was around that time. Was it like 2019?
I think I'd be like too scared.
But now you wouldn't.
Now I don't think I would because I
do it.
feel like I have a little more faith in myself. But at the time, I was like, it's gonna.
Which is wild because you have so much confidence. Like I know we've gone through a roller coaster here today, but it's like you have so much confidence. I think that's like one thing. Like your insecurities, of course, but you can be insecure. I'm both. I'm very confident, but at the same time, I'm very insecure.
Yeah, I think there's certain things that I'm confident in, and then there's certain things that I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of. And I think at the time I was like, this is going to be one of those things where I say, you know what? Someone else deserves it.
Well, I think you deserve it. I think you should, if they offer it to you, you're still very young. You can play a plastic easily. You can be, oh my God, that would be, especially with the new movie.
So now I'd be like, okay, cool. I will work really hard at it. But at the time I was just so afraid of like people not liking me.
Oh man, that sucks.
You know what I
held
mean?
You back. Yeah.
I feel like I have that a lot where I'm like, I could do this, but like, what if people don't like me? Like, I was so scared of coming here because I'm like, there's such a big chance that everyone hates me. And like,
no, oh my God, I hope you don't feel that way. It's so funny you said that too, that you were like nervous enough when you came in here, talking to Mose, whatever. You just like you have so much confidence. Like you're just you can chat to anyone. Like it's so odd that you would think that or have those feelings of insecurity when this stuff. I'm like, oh, she's a performer. She's ready. She comes and does these interviews. She's like, which is like amazing. Oh my God, I hope you get offered again because I think that would be. And your boyfriend's there, so it gives you a reason to go to New York.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Please offer.
I was gonna bring him today because he was like, "Oh, I'll come and I'll wait in the car and I'll study."
Oh.
And I was like, "No," because I
could have brought him in. You can bring people in.
But it's like the straight man energy that we don't have at Just Trish.
I don't mind a straight man if he's like, especially an international one, especially a foreign one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he's cool. He's just also very quiet. And I was like, you know what? It's okay, Annie. Like, you could stay home and study, and I'll just go do my thing.
Wait, is he here now?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's in town, but he has stuff he's studying for tests and whatever.
You should I always tell people to bring everyone. I think Zach Sang came with the most. I think he came with like 20 people or 15. I don't know, maybe.
Oh, wow, live audience.
Yeah, it wasn't like 15. It was like a lot. It was like a whole crew.
It's like a talk show.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, okay, they rolled you. I love when people bring people. I think it's fun. I love it also too, like Brooke doesn't bring anyone. I think that's fun too. I usually go places solo. Now I've been a little more scared. I'll bring like my sister or something like that.
I always have to bring someone.
Yeah, I just feel like just a comfort.
Also, and just like I'm like afraid because what if I like say something that like I shouldn't have said or like or like because sometimes I just get on a roll. Clearly, I just get on a roll.
I'm the same way. I think I've done a couple things solo, and I'm just like, and then sometimes I still showed up solo, and they're like, "Oh, you come by yourself," and you're just like, "Oh, should I bring someone?" I don't know.
I don't know.
But you drove yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're like independent. I saw you getting gas this morning.
Oh,
I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh, you were on it. I just posted that.
Even yesterday. I was like, oh my God, because I thought you said you were sick. I was like, is she? Because I was like so
no,
worried.
I'm finally over it. I was sick for like a month, and those coughs that just linger will not go away.
I had a cough for 2 months. Like last year, he just got over his for like 3 weeks. I think it's like a virus going around,
and it just like will not leave.
It's awful,
but it's finally at the point where I'm not like hacking up a lung, and
No, you sound great.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you sound amazing. What is your goals or plans for this year? Do you have any, or just live life?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I feel like I'm excited for the movie career-wise. Like, I genuinely have no idea yet. Mm-hmm. Just kind of taking things as they come. I've had some really good luck off the top of the year.
Already?
Yeah.
Because it can be a slow start to the year.
Yeah, it was like a quick start. So I'm really excited about that. I'm doing a lot of like speaking conferences, like at these like tech summits.
Oh, that's so perfect for you. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I went to Lisbon in November and I just talked about social media and longevity and whatever, which you would actually be perfect at.
No, you are the greatest because you started as a child and you're still doing this. It's amazing.
Yeah, but you could talk about career longevity all day.
I don't think so. I don't think I've had it consistently like you. I think you've had that consistent and you just manage it so well. And you've had the mainstream success. You've sung. You've been off of Broadway. You're in a movie. Like those are huge accomplishments that I don't think I've met with any other social media star. Like in person, anyways, I never met someone like you.
Thank you.
It's amazing. And if I was in my bitter Trish era, I'd be so jealous of you. And I am. I'm like, oh my God, you're living my dream life. When you said the Broadway, I was like, no. What?
No, I get it. And like, I don't know. That to me makes sense though, because I'm like, okay, I had to turn it down because someone else deserves it. Someone else worked for it. Like I can't just walk in there and take that opportunity from someone. But anyways, yeah, that, which I think you would be so good at, but that's off topic.
Oh, well, thank you. And I just see you today. We were talking about bangs earlier, and I was just like, oh my God, it's so weird to see you in that.
I showed up with the wrong hair.
No, I showed up with the wrong hair. I was like, I saw it on your story. I was like, should I switch my wig real quick? Because I have a wig that looks like your actual hair. Yeah, I was like, should I switch it? We could be twinning. But I like this, the no bangs. We were talking about how I have such a huge forehead, and you were like, I hate my little forehead. And I was like, I've never seen your forehead because I always seen you with bangs.
Yeah, because it doesn't even register because it's just like, I don't know. It's like a two head.
girl, I'm like, where's my wig? I don't know if I'm showing it. Let me see.
But you have such a good hairline.
This is also my wig down. Like I have it. Mine's like a receding hair. I also don't know how you pull off bangs. I can't see in it. Like it's so hard.
That's the thing I didn't like, because I would always end up parting them, and then they would look weird because they just stuck like
they
here.
go on the lashes and stuff like that.
Because like I just started growing them out.
I love this look. So are you going to be brunette for a while?
Yeah, I mean this will fade into like a bit more like dirty blonde, closer to my natural hair color. But I'm trying to grow my hair, and if I keep bleaching it, it's going to fall out.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, at least you learned that young. I was like 30, and I was like bald, and I was like, okay, I need to stop.
And I can do, so the way that we do my hair is like these pieces are blonde. So if I need to put a wig on for something, I can be blonde from here back and just like tuck my hair under.
Do you wear wigs?
For events and things like that,
okay.
I do like wigs like from here back.
Okay, so you do. So you have the
I'll
hairline.
pull out like the front of my hair.
Yeah, it took me a while to be comfortable with like a wig because I'm always like, okay, you can clock the hairline. Like mine's not good. Some people can like glue it and like be. I'm like,
Yeah, I can't do it myself.
Yeah,
like,
same. No, but you did this glam today yourself.
This I can like extensions and makeup I can do.
It's amazing.
But of course I like it better when someone else does my hair.
Yeah, I can't even put a lash on.
Also, I don't know what the back of my head looks like. You know, I don't want to know.
I never do. I also don't judge anyone based on the back of the head because one, I never look at anyone's back of the head.
Right.
And also me, I literally look crazy all the time. Like Moses, I can feel him sometimes like try to like go down. Like I know I don't brush the back of my head.
Yeah, and I could tell like my boyfriend has never been with
hair extensions.
A glam girl.
Okay, yeah. Where he's like, what's this?
Yeah, because like on our first date, one of my extensions was hurting, so I like popped it out.
No way.
In the car, and I like tried to put it in my purse, and he was like, "Did you take your hair out?" And I was like, "Yeah, I should have given you the warning." But like this one was bothering me a little bit.
He didn't know. Yeah, most didn't know it existed. He's like, I didn't know people wore extensions. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
And he was like, sometimes I'll walk in and be like, "So is this your hair or someone else's hair?"
Oh my god. That's kind of cute though.
It's someone else's, and it was very expensive. So.
Yeah. You're like, this is like Indonesian hair that I had to like import.
Yeah, and it was expensive. But he's learning. Like I do my eyelashes, and he's like,
he's like,
awe.
It's like a whole new world for him.
Yeah, and I think I'm a little different for him. But
you are a glam girly. I think that's good though. I love it. And you look. I mean, the glam is amazing on point, and the new cowboy boots, and
I mean, he was like confused by the spray tan. Like that was another one.
Oh,
he was like, I took me to my spray tan last night, and I was like, I'm just warning you, I'm gonna come out, and I'm gonna be like brown and green.
Oh my!
But it'll go away.
It rinses off. Yes, I know. I almost spray tanned. That's why I wear these. I almost spray tanned. I fell asleep at like 6 o'clock at night because.
I fall asleep early. I love to sleep these days.
Oh gosh, it's the best. And like being up early, you said you're a morning person. I'm such a morning person. I'll go to sleep at 6:30 and be up at like 4.
Can you take naps?
Being pregnant, I can, but I never was able to before. But now I take naps all the time. How about you?
I love like a 20-minute nap. You know, that's like the optimal time. If you take like a 26-minute nap, it's the perfect amount of time.
Do you set an alarm?
Yep.
Interesting. So it's like a little pick-me-up.
Siesta, yeah.
Okay.
Siesta, that's my Spanish coming through.
Oh my God. Your boyfriend will be so impressed.
I know.
Does he take one with you?
He doesn't sleep much.
Okay. So
he like doesn't sleep. Like he'll get like 6 hours of sleep and be fine. I need like my full 8 hours.
Me too. And I thought in Spain too, don't they like take off like 3 hours for lunch to like nap and stuff like that?
It's like in the culture, but he doesn't.
He's just also like young and well, you have it figured out. You're like, I need 26 minutes and that's it.
I need 26 minutes around like 3, and then at night I need 8 hours.
Yeah, always get 8 hours.
Do not wake me up before those 8 hours have like gone.
Well, that's why you're like grounded. Like that's why you're like holding it together and stuff like that. Because you are such an interesting case where you've gone through so much and you've almost like maybe you should be a therapist or something. The way you like, what do you call it? What do you say? Psychoanalyze yourself. Yeah, it's very wise and.
Thank you. I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just like, I could have things so wrong and backwards and whatever.
No, I don't know either, but I think like you seem very level-headed and very with it. And I think you should never stop sharing your story. I think all these stories like really matter and gives people the confidence to say stuff. Also give people the confidence to know something is wrong, you know what I mean, where it's not normal. And, you know, I think that's good. The more people that talk about it, the more people are aware that this is not a good thing. You know what I mean? And
also, I was not expecting to say this much today. I apologize.
Don't apologize. I
apologize to all the fishies.
No, I applaud it. And so many people, I think, will applaud the bravery. And so many young girls, I think, will just be like, oh my gosh, this is something that I've gone through or I haven't talked about or I don't know how to feel or process it. And I think you did a good job talking about it and how you deal with it.
I hope so. I hope that's like the outcome.
It is. I mean, it's inspirational. It's like a sad story, but then seeing your success and seeing how you're functioning in life is a beautiful thing.
Thank you. How am I functioning in life?
I don't know. You're doing well. You're doing very well. I mean, when you told me when you came in about your house and stuff like that, I was like, wow, that's amazing. At 21.
Thank you.
That's a huge life achievement.
It's cool. But it's just, you don't really register it, you know? It's like, this is great. Okay, next.
Yeah. Well, I hope you can. I hope you can reflect and
I'm
be like,
trying
this is
to do
amazing.
that more.
Yeah.
Okay, you asked what I'm doing this year. That's what I'm trying to do more. Is just be like, okay, this is good. This is a good thing.
Yes, it's a good thing. You deserve it. You work hard for it.
Thank you.
You know, you've processed everything.
Trying to let things be good.
I love that. I think more good things will be coming for you. I'm so excited just for whatever comes through. I'm excited for your movie. I'm excited for your love life. I'm excited for whatever happens, and I'm here for it. And hopefully Broadway. I'm petitioning for Loren Gray back on Mean Girls on Broadway. Go see the movie. You'll be inspired, and then I feel like you'll go on it.
The movie was really good.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
You could be a Karen for sure. I feel like that's definitely.
I would love to be
your
a Karen.
vibe for sure. I mean, you could be any. You could be Regina. You could be anybody. But
Regina, I feel like would that be hard for me? Maybe.
I think you could do it. Can you you could sing like that? I think you could.
I could train a little bit. We'll work on it.
I'm here for it. Loren, thank you so much for coming. This was like really, truly one of my favorite interviews. I did not even expect this either. I was just like, I don't know. Like, she's so perfect and just so pretty. And I'm like, how am I going to even relate? And here I am just being like, me too. Everything you said, I'm like, me too. But you know, it's the worst interviewer to be like, me too. But it's like, I feel you on so many levels. And I wish we could talk so much more. But hopefully you'll come back when your movie comes out and so much more.
We can talk about it.
Check out Loren Gray everywhere. She's on TikTok, Instagram. She'll be on Netflix soon. And Broadway. We're manifesting that. Okay, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.